Welcome everybody to Tough Table episode number 11. I want to quickly introduce everyone here today. We have Taylor Gillette, my lovely Shauna. No. Kevin Terrier, Rob Kaminski, and of course, six-man Javier from VinylYouUp. Alright, so we got two newbies at the table today, so we're going to focus on them for a quick intro. We're going to ask them basically, what motivated you to become involved in the fitness community and that industry, and why did you choose Team SUF or Sci-Unison Fitness? So we will start with Taylor. And we get 5 minutes.
All right. So what motivated me was I didn't like how I felt in college. And so towards the end of college, I was like, all right, I'm done with this drinking life and everything like that, eating poorly. Well, I felt very like skinny fat, and I didn't really like it. So when I moved home, I cut drinking completely, and then I decided to start training and researching everything on my own. And then I was starting to meal prep. So then a couple people at my gym were like getting into competing, and I'm like, all right, well, I train and I'm meal prepping. Why don't I try to do this? Yeah. And I've been an athlete my whole life, so I kind of felt like after college, since I didn't play any college sports, that I was like missing that competitiveness. So I was like, all right, this could be perfect for me. So I found a coach. He was very knowledgeable. I worked with him for 2 years, but I didn't feel as though his approach on everything was a lifestyle I could always live with. It was very strict, very old school bodybuilding, very old school techniques. And so I was looking for something new towards the end of 2015. I had followed Heather Drake on social media for a while, and I was like, who is this girl's coach? So I did my research, but everything kept coming back to Team SUF. I asked a couple of people, what they thought, and so then I decided to reach out to Ryan, and the rest is history.
Everything's coming up, Team SUF.
That's good.
Google.
It's everywhere.
You should always Google your coach.
Yeah. Oh,
I googled.
Use the name too.
Full name.
Full name.
No, I do.
Not a name. Just saying. You already lied there. Google the first name and the last name. Google the full name.
Yeah.
You've already been here. Rob K, what's up?
Yeah. So I kind of got into fitness almost accidentally. I was, all throughout high school, I was kind of that scrawny little pipsqueak type of kid. I was a little bit of an athlete, but nothing crazy competitive. Just joined a gym, a YMCA, and just kind of took it from there. As far as the competing aspect, I accidentally, again, stumbled into a gym that was owned by, or still is owned by, a former Mr. Connecticut bodybuilder. And, I was in pretty decent shape at the time, and he kind of approached me and was like, you ever think about competing? And it hadn't really crossed my mind, so I was like, yeah, sure, like, what does it entail? Because he had all these trophies and pictures and everything of himself, and I was like, well, if I can look like that guy, that'd be the coolest thing ever. So he says, all right, well, so here's what we're going to do. He puts me on a meal plan, and we're going to come in, we're going to train, we're going to work, on your posing and everything. But I wanted to be a physique competitor, and he was kind of training me almost as if a bodybuilder. So similar bodybuilding pose, like a hybrid bodybuilder / men's physique pose, almost like a classic physique right now. And the first show I did was not a natural show, but being a natural competitor, going up on stage against about, I think there was 36 men's physique competitors, and being one guy that's not on anything, it didn't really work out too well. So that's kind of when I jumped into natural bodybuilding, did a little bit of research, and saw that there was a show coming up in Connecticut at the time, and I did that, and I worked with a different coach. I was working with somebody else separate for my posing, and so that's actually the very first time that I saw Ryan and the team over there. It was pretty good. We, the placings weren't where we wanted to, but one of the things that I gained from it is actually became pretty good friends with Mark Herman, who ended up placing second at that show, and I finished third. Yeah, exactly.
Remember that show?
I do remember that show.
So I thought it was pretty cool, and the next show, actually, this was 2015. The next show that we went to was the Monster Mash, and I was working with the same coach, but he couldn't make it to my show for whatever reason. Connecticut guy, and me being the Connecticut guy too, he just couldn't make it, so that kind of stunk. So I drove up there by myself, did the whole thing, and I got up there, and I remember very, very clearly, very first thing I saw Mark, we said our hellos and everything, and Ryan actually walked up and he said, hey, look, it's number 1 and number 2. So I either assumed, hey, listen, this guy thought that I placed second, or he thinks I'm a big piece of crap. So you know, it was kind of cool that this was like 3-4 weeks later after that first show that he remembered who I was. And I remember him, I was like, who is this madman running around with walkie-talkies, yelling at people? I was like, I gotta get involved with this guy. So after that show, a couple months later, I took a little bit of time to myself, and then I emailed Ryan, or I think I messaged you on Instagram or something like that.
Yeah.
And I said, listen, not really working out with my coach, and you know, we started exchanging emails and everything like that, and that's pretty much how it happened. Smooth sailing from there. So it's been pretty awesome.
All right, good. Avi, you good?
Yeah, bro.
Test your reflexes. You're slow.
There we go.
All right, give me another reset on there. I want to talk about some quick things first before we get started. All right, so before we get started, I want to talk about a couple of things. First things first is the food drive. I know this is an October episode. I'm going to take me 2 weeks to edit this, so it puts us at mid-October when you see this. SUF Thanksgiving food drive. We want to make sure that everyone's donating this year. We have the Reps for Food challenge that we'll be doing. You know, a lot of athletes from the team will be participating in that, trying to raise that money. We have a new website, which I have to build. So by doing this now, I give myself 2 weeks to build this website.
No pressure.
Yes, SUFcharity.com. Instead of running through Sci-Unisonfitness.com and Team SUF to try to find things, repsforfood.com, everything's going to be under this thing, SUFcharity.com. Again, we're accepting food donations, money donations. We'll do all the shopping. We spend all the money on food. We will make sure it's donated. And last year we raised over $15,000, and that's the goal to beat for this year. So we got to make this happen. Next thing, Team SUF. We didn't do we didn't do a plug with the last episode, but so now's the time. For more details, teamsuf.com, of course. But I want to give a shout out to the Herc crew. Got the ball rolling for us. We're a little slow to start this season. I hate that feeling, but the Herc kind of saved us. We had Malcolm winning the overall in men's bodybuilding at the Herc. He earned his pro card. He's our first ever middleweight pro and took that overall title. We had Taylor Gillette, who won. We had Taylor Gillette, who won a Fit Body Pro card. And we also had Brianna, who won the bikini overall and became a WNBF bikini pro. So the history at the Herc is real deep and real rich for us. We have 6 overall titles in 5 years. 4 men's bodybuilding, 1 figure, and 1 bikini. All right, so we got a good momentum at that show, and New York is always home court. Next, I want to talk about, Stephanie Kane. She came to me. We did this Georgia show, WNBF Pro Fit Body. She won that. We just did a One World United. It's another federation that accepts pros from everywhere. That was yesterday. She took first place and won in figure. So it's all aboard the Kane train.
Choo-choo, bitches.
Yeah, choo-choo, bitches. So we're bringing that up to the U.S. Cup, Robert Fulton. So we'll see how that goes. I want to also congratulate Shauna, who is newly crowned. She's a newly crowned WNBF and DFAC bikini pro. So we're gonna keep that going and ride that momentum. I also want to thank her too because we have another athlete on the team, Tracy Springer. We needed her to win a Fit Body Pro card to give her a path forward to the Worlds. And we learned that the numbers for the National Mania were tight. We didn't think there was going to be enough to make it a pro card eligible. So Shauna, she's never done figure or fit body. We decided that week to teach her some poses and to throw her into the class. Shauna ended up being the 5th person to make the class pro qualifier. Tracy Springer won, so Shauna gave her the path, and Shauna ended up taking 2nd in class. All right,
way to step it up.
Yeah, so that was a good day.
That's so scary.
Talking about Tracy, big shout out to her. DFAC, women's physique pro, and new WNBF Fit Body Pro, and at the the WNBF Pro Universe, she won pro figure as well. Last but not least is Ishmael, my former my fellow Dudley boy. He took first place in the pro men's bodybuilding at the WNBF Pro Universe. That's a big accomplishment. There was a lot of big names on that stage, so we're going to ride that momentum forward into Fulton as well. So, I'm done there. All right, so now that that's done, let's roll into our first topic, which is going to be Counting Macros 101. Gone are the days of these rigid meal plans. They aren't really practical for long-term success for the athlete and the coach. They're severely restrictive to clients and coaches, and for the best results for everyone across the board, athlete, lifestyle clients, it's best to learn how to properly count their macros. Macros being protein, carbs, fat, and that's the best way to approach the nutrition for that long-term success. But before that, we had such a positive feedback on that Bijik playlist from the last episode. We wanted to give you guys another Bijik deep track.
My night is your night, and I'm gonna be with you night. I'm saying my own words in my song. They're saying their song. I'm talking about me. You don't talk about me. I talk about you. Do you understand me? But me, I'm the Bijik, and you're nothing. I am Dave Bijik Bomber. With my pumps, nobody looks like me. Do I look like a bleaching face?
All right, so thank you for that Bijik deep track played by Javier. All right, so counting macros. Who's starting? Not me.
Kevin, we haven't heard from you.
Yeah, I'll wait. All jokes aside, what's a macro?
We just said it, guy. You paying attention? Macros. Okay.
Yeah,
so,
proteins.
Okay. Yeah, proteins, carbs, fats.
So all of them combined.
All right, so
Yeah,
it's good to have this
macronutrients.
conversation. So basically, when people are trying to sign up to me or anyone else, the main thing they ask is, "Oh, what do you charge for a meal plan?" Who sneezed? You did? Oh, bless you.
Thank you.
The main thing they ask is, "What do you charge for a meal plan?" So with a meal plan, you're writing out these people's meals. Meal plan. I don't know what you like to eat. I don't know what you like to eat. Your schedule may change any day. So if I make you a schedule, I don't know what you like to eat. I don't know what your taste buds are. And now I'm writing this stuff, and you tell me, oh, I weight train at this time. So I make a meal plan for you based around that weight training time. You wake up at this time. Now, if you wake up at a different time, or you're late to something happens at work, and you have to work out at a different time, who are you going to bother? Me. Oh, I couldn't work out at 3 today. It's 4:30. What do I do? When you do these meal plans, no one's learning anything. They don't learn anything. They know nothing about food. They're reading a piece of paper. They have no idea how much food is going in. They just read. And then what happens? They get bored. And when you're bored, what starts to happen? You start to eat cookies. Let me get a cookie. I want one of each. You start to eat cookies.
Do you have here?
Chip.
Oh my
Your
God, those
long-term
oatmeal
success rate
ones?
drops
Yeah.
because you're restricted.
Sorry,
What is everyone's meal plan going to be? Oh, chicken and brown rice, all this stuff. When you count macros,
Chocolate chip.
I don't want you to
when you
touch
count
it.
macros, it's you can have things like tacos and stuff like that as long as you're counting stuff. Not tacos from fucking Taco Bell, but
Oh, really?
like maybe
You can have taco night at home.
yeah, you can have taco night because you're counting everything.
Yeah.
So it's not a meal plan. It's like, Javi, I need you to have this amount of protein in a day, this many carbs, this many fat. You're gonna break it up, and I'm gonna check your math, and I'm gonna tell you, okay, well, if you're weight training at this time, it's probably more beneficial to have a little food, more food before and after that, instead of having all this food when you're sitting around doing nothing. So I help people to move their food around, but this way they get to eat things that they like.
It keeps them less alienated
Yeah.
from everybody else that doesn't give a shit
That's
about what
exactly
they're
all
eating.
my,
what
all
happens.
my all my prep guides. You've known me obviously.
Yeah.
Every
A
prep
lot has
I've
changed from
yeah, but
when you first started.
but every prep I've done, I counted macros. I've never done a meal plan. I've always counted macros, always. So that's what macros are. Then you have micros, but that's a whole other game. But Kevin, go ahead. I got suckered into talking first.
Alright.
I'm gonna eat my cookies now.
So when I first started with you, I never counted macros before, so it was kind of weird getting started, and I kind of needed help to get things rolling because I really didn't know what I was doing. But as we went along, and you told me what scales to get, which is
The best one.
This
and
right
they no
here.
longer sell it, yeah.
it just kind of worked because, like you said, my schedule's crazy, so my workouts are different from day to day as far as time-wise. So when I would eat would change, when I would work out would change, which would mess with when I would eat.
Yeah.
So counting macros just made sense, and the more I got used to it, the more it made sense, and I can incorporate things I like to eat and wasn't stuck. Because if you tell me what to eat and day in and day out,
do the same thing. And then I get the email, I'm bored. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Like, and I gotta change this. And then it's, well, I don't like that, or I can't get that, or it's just like, oh god, like, oh man.
And it lets you play with your food so you stay interested in it.
Yeah.
It
keeps you in it longer.
Yeah, and then when you get out of prep, it's easier to maintain because again, you can eat whatever you want, so as long as you make it fit your numbers.
Yeah, I mean, well, it comes to a point. When
Yes.
I don't want any of the competitors going batshit crazy now, but when you're competing, as we get closer to the show, we get a little tighter. Things like dairy and stuff, we start to limit. All right, so let's just let people know that, or else forget about it.
All your weigh-ins are going to be horrible.
Yeah, things like that. But that's for competing, and that's the last click of competing. When you first start the diet, off season, into the prep and everything, those deep out weeks, regular lifestyle clients. Use that word, lifestyle.
Like that.
Yeah. The regular lifestyle clients, they can use it all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So as long as people know the difference.
It also helped me because I've been doing it for I don't even know how many years now. It helps me eyeball stuff. So when I'm not on prep like right now, I can go out to eat and I can see how much food is in front of me, and I can know how much to scale back from it and stuff. Because
Are you eyeballing your cookies right now?
I'm blind right now. Just shoveling cookies.
Just making sure.
Yeah, because if you're not counting, like even when the people get the meal plans, it still says something in there like 4 ounces of chicken, but they don't know the value of 4 ounces of chicken. They just know there's 4 ounces of chicken. They don't know protein numbers, stuff like that. Like you asked me about brown rice, and I can tell you like, one serving is 33 carbs.
Yeah.
43 grams or 1/3 cup. Like it's just you get programmed. So you can make better decisions.
Yep, definitely.
So how much would a donut from Dunkin' Donuts be?
I think the fat's like 13 or 17. There's like 5 grams of protein and not that many carbs.
That's
It's a lot
So can you fit that into your macros?
Yeah. Well,
could I or should I?
No, you right now,
no.
But somebody that's just trained, like just to whatever, like they can have a donut and it won't be like a disaster as long as
right.
But keep in mind now, as you diet and you calorie restrict, and the calories come lower and lower, and your macro allotment is less and less, you got to keep in mind, what is your body going to run better off of? If you blow all your carbs on a donut, or if you have your carbs from other sources. If you have a carb spike day where, we're throwing in an influx of calories to keep the metabolism going, okay, so that's the day you can be a little more, liberal with your food choices. But that's why I say with the people who are prepping and, they get low because we have to get the body fat low. Some of these people hit these poverty style macros. That's what we call them poverty macros. All right. When you hit those, if you blow all your fat and carbs with Pop-Tarts, it's like, yeah, technically you hit your macros, and yeah, technically it shouldn't affect your fat loss capabilities, but you may feel like shit. Which means you're not going to perform in the gym.
Yeah. Your workout's going to be crap.
Yeah.
So chances are you wouldn't even want to do it anyway.
No.
When you're into deep prep.
Yeah.
But yes, but if you're a lifestyle person and you're trying to make healthy choices and you're losing weight, you got a good momentum behind you, and you get a carb spike or a calorie influx day, and you can keep yourself to one donut, well, why not? Eat the donut and go work out an hour and a half, 2 hours later.
Go eat that 1,000-calorie Five Guys bacon cheeseburger.
Yeah.
I had 2 of those once, just saying.
Don't even miss that. I can eat.
Well, I feel like also you have to have a lot of patience with yourself when you're first learning how to count macros, competitor or lifestyle, just because it's overwhelming to now all of a sudden see a piece of food and think that there are protein, carbs, and fats involved, and that has to work. Your totals have to equal up the whole day. That's like...
Which is never going to be perfect, too. It's never going to be like, oh, wow, 140 grams of protein, that's my target, 140. And 200 carbs at 240 fat, got it. It's, you'll be a couple over, like 141 protein. That's okay. But if you're supposed to have 140 protein and you get 155, that's like, oh, no, it's a little much. And fat's worse.
Because fat's 9 calories per gram.
That's what we, carbs and protein are both 4 calories per gram. Fat's 9, so it's more than double. So if you're over by 2 grams of carbs, 2 grams of fat, it's not the end of the world. 2 grams of fat is still not really the end of the world, but it's more than double the impact. So you gotta watch that fat intake.
And then another thing is to really pay close attention to labels, you know, serving sizes, and also if the measurement is cooked or raw.
Oh yeah, we'll get into that. Yeah, that's a whole. Yeah, that's a whole.
I just saw it today. The English muffin serving size is only 1/2 of the.
Yes.
Yeah.
You get like the complete cookies, and you look and it's like half the cookie.
Yeah,
Same with the Pop-Tart.
I'll like
Pop-Tart
four
is
Pop-Tarts.
one pastry.
Yeah.
I feel like it used to be 2. Why
No,
do
it's
they
always
put 2
one.
in? It's rude for them to put 2 in one sleeve.
I know, because once it's open, it's gonna go stale if you don't eat the
So
other
you
one.
gotta
So you
eat
have to eat
both.
both.
They set you up.
Yeah, it sets you up for that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're
no, a
rude.
lot of things. That's a good point.
And then I find also the tools for counting macros, such as the scale, is really
Yeah, you need a
much
scale.
more accurate and it's also less dishes if you have like measuring cups and spoons.
Oh, God.
And not only with that, also
It's like filth.
a tablespoon or a heaping tablespoon.
Yeah.
That heaping
Yeah.
tablespoon
Yeah.
could be 3 or 4 tablespoons of peanut butter.
Yeah.
You know, and that's really you
Yeah.
cannot eyeball
You
peanut
look,
butter.
yeah, if you look at the label, it
It's
says for
just
peanut
not.
butter.
I've
It says,
tried.
it says for peanut butter, the serving is 2 tablespoons.
32.
Yeah, well, it says a tablespoon or 32 grams. So you may put a tablespoon and scoop this peanut butter, but you may have 60 grams in that tablespoon. So by you thinking 2 tablespoons, you may, in essence, be having 2 servings instead of 1. That's why everything should be measured.
Yeah.
And also, even with like protein powder,
Yeah.
if you pack that scoop, you can be getting another half a scoop in there.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Everything's best to be measured in grams. You know, again, you can't tell people, unless you're a competitor, you can't tell these people how to live their lives.
No.
People sometimes are going to eyeball stuff, and they're gonna get a certain level of success. But you know, if you really want to make things happen, you can't monitor and adjust something that's not measured. You know what I'm saying? It's
Well,
just
everything's like, you know, on a professional level and just, you know, enjoyment level.
Yeah,
You know?
like a little
they
Right.
play basketball every day, but they're not at a professional level.
Yes.
So, you know, practice that way.
Yeah.
Same thing with you guys.
yeah, I mean, you know, off season and pre-season, you know, things are approached, you know, a little different. But still, like, you got to have that basic concept of counting these things. And to count these things, you know, you use the scales, and you know, there are certain things. You know, there's apps, MyFitnessPal.
I use
There's
MyFitnessPal.
yeah, the old school approach, which is pen and paper. See, now the pen and paper approach, I don't like MyFitnessPal. I just never have, and I'm waiting for my software, so I'm
I
not.
heard there was a software coming out.
Yeah.
It's still supposed to be.
Yeah, I'm waiting.
Game changer, you know.
So MyFitnessPal I never really liked. But you know what's weird? I used to always do the old school pen and paper, but it always went well with that scale.
Yeah.
Because these scales are not that scale.
The scale is because it breaks everything down.
It breaks everything down, and you
Really?
can add the
Daily
All right, so
total.
this is the Salter scale. NutriWay Salter NutriWay 1450,
That
right?
you
Yeah.
can no longer buy, but you can
You
buy
can
now
no longer
for
buy.
$4
I
billion.
bought, yeah, I bought like 4 of these because I knew they were getting rid of them. So basically, this thing, you program your own foods in here, which I know you can do with these,
And
but
look.
this you write it out. So what I would do is I would take all my labels and you input the data, and it would be I would put RS and a space like an underscore, and then I put chicken, all this stuff. Because if you search R, everything else is, you know, everything R that's already in here will come up. So I put RS underscore and add in all my custom foods. So when I'm doing my diet and everything, I would just turn the scale on, RS underscore, and find what I'm doing. Peanut butter, whey protein, all this stuff, put it on the scale, and this whole thing right here says protein, carbs, fat, everything, and you can add to the thing, or I would just add to my notebook.
Yeah.
This thing was beautiful, and they got rid of the Salter because they changed it to that fucking, what was that bullshit fucking show, where people lose all weight?
Biggest Loser.
Yeah, they turned it to the Biggest Loser scale.
Is that
I
what they
bought
did?
that scale, and it's a piece of shit. It's a piece of shit. I called the people, and I'm like, why did you get, oh, it's a little complicated. So because people are so stupid, you had to get rid of something that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I think
Exactly.
I know you can put custom foods in here too, and that other
But
scale.
it's a code.
I know, so you
That's
have to. Yeah, you have to memorize your own code.
Ugh,
I
it's
know.
filth.
I know. I know.
Oh, no, that's not the life to live. When you have the best and you go down, it is not fun.
Yeah.
This was the best. I have one. I will.
I never got to see the best.
Yeah, that's the best. I have a brand new one. It's downstairs. I think
you should keep it for a little while.
I don't think I'll need it though,
I
because when
think
my
you
app
should
is out.
auction it off to the highest bidder.
I probably should. I don't think I'll need it because when my software is out, you'll just need something that weighs grams.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the key there. A lot of people also set up their own like spreadsheet. I've had a couple people do that. They'll set up a spreadsheet with all the calculators in there, and they'll label it like chicken, and then they'll put how do you do it? You put the label in. So it'd be one chicken. You put chicken 112 grams. So grams 112, and then you put the equations that equal up to their protein, their fat, and their carbs. And when you change to 112, everything else changes. So 112 yields you to 24 grams of protein, 1.5 grams of fat. So you do like a divide. I think it's it wouldn't be 112 divided by. It would be 24 grams of protein divided by 112, and you get that decimal. Yes, and then you poke that into the spreadsheet, and as you change the gram total for that, they'll tell you what the protein, carbs, and fat is. So people do that. It's a little more tedious. I feel like as of right now, MyFitnessPal is probably the best option.
I use something called MyNet Diary. I've gone to apps. So now when I use the scale, I weigh it out and then I'll input the food into the app so that there's a running count in the app. And I started using MyNet Diary. I think it was my second season, and I chose that over MyFitnessPal because at the time, I can set MyNet Diary to whatever macros you gave me.
Okay,
so it was just a running count. I just input my food and I see the numbers drop and how much I have left to go.
Yeah, so like it stinks because MyFitnessPal, you have to set your values equal to just 0 and just know what you need to be at, and then just ignore everything that it's telling you.
Doesn't MyFitnessPal like try to suggest like do this or do that?
Yeah.
You have to count upward. Yeah.
It won't let you. And
I tried to figure it out by putting the calories in and figuring out the percentages closest to.
You actually have to open the app on a desktop. It's
too confusing.
Crazy.
Yeah. Too confusing.
Or else you have to pay.
Yes, too confusing.
Like
that's why I want mine.
To this,
See, I'm a lazy.
Can I just go eat now?
You know that I'm a lazy person, so I'm gonna find my way. The easiest way,
fastest, the quickest way.
Because I know what bothers me. Doing shit like going in this app and it's like, okay, I pull up a label, and the label for oatmeal will say 1 serving, 43 grams, gives me 33 carbs. It's like okay, that's fucking cool. What happens if I want 50 carbs, not 33? Now, instead of changing the 33 carbs to 50 and it telling me how much to weigh out, you have to go to the serving size and go 1.2 servings and guess. It's like, no, I don't have fucking time for this.
You gotta like
I don't do that. Like, I'm too lazy to be doing shit like that. So that's why I personally have never used it. But I haven't prepped since 14. I've never prepped it at that scale. That scale with pen and paper was always my go-to.
I remember you always had that pad.
Yeah, always. Yep. Always. Because these apps, I don't know. I don't really like these apps.
And I know some people can just like count on the fly all day and be fine at the end of the night, but I always when I was new, I would do like the whole week. Like I would plan out my food for the week.
Yeah, I still
like
do that.
the week before, like on Sunday, let's say, and then
So I was day by day.
I'm day by day.
And then
meal by meal.
Or if it's like I had like the training macros, recovery, and then whatever else, I would just have those set and just repeat it until I knew you were going to change the macros.
Yeah.
But now I just look over it the night before just to make sure I at least have something defrosted or enough for me to make stuff. But
yeah, meal prepping on Sundays, I figure out my whatever meat I'm eating that week, the protein.
Okay.
I figure those 2 meals out. It's usually like meals 3 and 4 for the whole week. And then my meals 1 and 2 I can adjust depending on if I have like a higher carb day or whatever. And some of my other meals I can adjust to, but I like to at least put it in, set it for the week, and then I can always adjust it.
That we had one of my other clients, this guy Leo. He used to do that. He used to cook the same meats on Sunday for the whole week.
Yep.
And my macros go up and down in terms of training, recovery. So I said to him, I'm like, well, how do you account for that? What if I change something? He was like, no, I keep all those meats account for a certain amount of protein. The rest of the protein I get is from breakfast, eggs, and protein shakes.
Which
So if
you
all the
easily-
meat is constant throughout the week, if there's an adjustment, I just move it with powder.
That's exactly what I do.
Yeah, so
Same
that's
with
a-
carbs
yes,
too.
yeah. You adjust with the powder. So that always
And
works.
having our macros usually like ahead of time for
Yeah.
the week, I know if I need I have like kind of 2 high carb days within like 10 days, I'll be like, oh well, I'll adjust on how much sweet potatoes
Yeah.
or like whatever else that I need to cook. But yeah, I'm the same way.
You know, talking about defrosting, I want to talk about this raw and cooked thing that
Yes.
drives me fucking crazy. Drives me nuts. You cannot, I repeat, you cannot take cooked chicken, turkey, beef, whatever. You cannot cook it and then apply it and count it and look at it and relate it to a raw label. When I look at chicken, when I buy chicken from the store and it's raw and there's a label on there, that is based on the raw measurement. So it says 4 ounces or 112 grams yields, let's say 23 grams of protein. If you fucking cook that chicken that was once 4 ounces or 112 grams now became close to 3 ounces. So now if you weigh out 4 ounces of that, you no longer are having 22 to 23 grams of protein. You may have 27, 28 grams of protein, which doesn't seem like a big deal, but times that by all the meals you're having, all the meals in a day, all the meals in a week, all the meals in a month, and if that number, that protein's artificially high and you're not losing weight, I think your protein's on point, so I don't want to move the protein. What do I start to move? Your carbs and your fat. But in essence, your protein was artificially high and you did not know. So you need to pay attention to that. And anyone using MyFitnessPal, they simply go and they type in, oh, cooked chicken. And then they send me the label, and guess what? It's the same as fucking raw. So it's like, so some fat idiot is downstairs in the basement somewhere, inputting the wrong data that everyone is going off of. Another reason why I want my own app, because guess what? It's all running through me. You know, so I have to have these people send me all the labels, and I'm like, the first one is wrong, the second one's wrong, use the third one. That's the closest to a cooked conversion for chicken. So you gotta watch out for that raw versus cooked thing. You gotta use the right labels, or else you're gonna screw yourself and your coach, which is me.
Yeah, I started thinking about that a lot, even with like pasta. Pasta is uncooked on the back, and then I'm like, well, how much am I supposed to have? So I actually tested a lot of things out. And then I inputted my own like meal.
Yeah.
And so I inputted what like my own pasta serving size is, and my own chicken is.
So that's good. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I don't have
good.
time to do like raw everything every time.
Yeah.
Cook it and
Yes.
like. So yeah, I did that.
But I tell people for something like that is you take 2 servings of the raw substance, so you know exactly what it weighs and what the macros are supposed to be. Cook it the way you're gonna cook it, and let it sit on a plate for like a couple of minutes, so this, you know,
cools down.
and then weigh it.
Right.
There's your conversion. Now you have data that can push you forward if you don't want to rely on some of the, you know, the macro tracker apps and some of the labels there. You got to find that conversion. So using that, also too, another big thing, yams and sweet potatoes are not the same thing. So
No.
yeah, we don't really get yams. It's
No,
mostly
I've
sweet
not-
potatoes.
I don't think I've ever seen
Sweet
yams in our
potatoes,
supermarkets.
there's a big difference in that. 40 carbs compared to 26 based on the serving size.
Why
So
do people think they're the same thing?
I thought they were the same thing for a while too. So, you know.
Sorry.
Yeah.
that sounded like a little
That's why it's on there. But no, it is. You know, you just gotta watch stuff like that. We talked last episode about the BLT shit.
Bites, licks, and tastes.
It all adds up. All
It
adds
does.
up.
It
You
does.
know, you're making food or something's there, you take a bite of, take a little bite of the bagel, and then later on, I have a couple of it, and by the end of the day, your macros are higher. Again, if you're a lifestyle client and you're happy with life and you're just being happy and everything's cool, then fine. But if you're doing a contest prep and you're weighing into a coach, me, and you're not budging and you're now stressing me out. You're stressing me out because of things you're doing wrong. So stop it.
And there's a time to be meticulous, and
Yes.
you just have to do
Yes,
it.
or else
Suck it up
don't
and
waste
do
my
it.
fucking time because You know, I'm losing sleep over certain people not losing weight or not getting to where they want to be. Yet I don't live with them, and they're sitting there.
Just like that. Sorry, guys.
Chomping away.
How do you know what I look like?
Chomping away, and you know we gotta watch stuff like that. We said last episode too, dressing and condiments add up.
Yeah.
You know.
Not only like calorie wise, but sodium wise too.
So you gotta watch stuff like that. Talked about some of the scales. What do we got here? Your scales? Yeah, let's show
So I just have a really tiny scale. A little sketchy, maybe.
A little sketchy. We have a real get a close up of that. Boom! Let's get a close up of that. We got a real sketchy Taylor Gillette scale.
Okay, well, I only got it because it's so small that it fits in like my purse, in my car, and my desk. Most of the time, it's for during prep. I don't pull it out all off season for every like little thing.
Well, what the fuck are you weighing with that?
Can you put
Like a small plate of like chicken. Like if I'm at work and they're serving food and I gotta eat something with everybody to, you know, not look weird or
So it's
whatever.
like nibble it by nibble it?
No, it's just like I'll just get a small plate, weigh my chicken off. At least my chicken or like whatever.
Yeah.
If I have to eat a carb with like whatever the meal is, at least I kind of know so that I can, instead of just eyeballing it.
Gotcha.
I have no problem eyeballing it in my off season. You know, I think I've learned to where I'm at. But when prep gets close down to like 2 months out or something, I'm very like want to just see exactly how much protein I'm eating so that if I have to make it up later because of like unexpected like, at work or wherever I am, like if I just miss something and I have to have it or whatever. yeah. So even though it's sketchy, or if I'm like out to eat or something, you know, I can still get like plain chicken and like broccoli. I just want to know like how much broccoli am I eating, and it might look a little stupid that I'm pulling it off to the side on this like small little one, but it just helps to make me feel better. That I'm like
it
prepared.
takes away that anxiety too.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're not obsessing later. Like I hope I really did only eat like that much chicken.
Right. Exactly. I mean, I don't mind protein like Ryan said, if I go over a little protein or like a little under protein, but it's more like the carbs and the fat that will start to get me during prep. I'm like, oh my god, I think I had too much or too little or whatever it may be. So that's why I just have this little pocket one. Yeah.
But what's your main scale? Please don't say that.
No.
Okay.
Oh no. I have a normal size scale. I think I want to try what this one is.
Yeah, this one's good.
I don't have like any breakdown of the nutrient facts.
Yes, I would
so
look into
that's
that.
Pretty cool.
What's that? That's the Kitrix?
Yes.
Yeah, the Kitrix scale. Let's give it a look.
Yeah.
It's not the Salter.
Mine just.
We should start a petition to bring back the Salter, but
scale.
Kitrix,
it changes by units and stuff like that. But
advertise.
Yeah, the Kitrix is a go-to. We keep that. You're using it now.
Yeah,
we keep that as a spare.
Yeah.
Sophie sleeps here every weekend.
What I like about this, and I know not every scale reads this way, but you can read in negatives. Okay. I really like that for like if you're scooping out the peanut butter, scooping out Greek yogurt.
I didn't understand that concept.
Anything.
Yes.
That way, it's like you're not adding, and you don't have to like think. You know, sometimes the scale will shut off or something, and then you're like, oh crap! Like how much did I just pour in there? So you can scoop out of the main container, and it'll read backwards. So that's, I like that.
Oh yeah. So the main thing is pick a scale that fits your needs. Take into account, you know, the size, what it measures, what it displays, what it does. The idea that this one, you know, again, it's not the Salter, but you can add your own. You can add 99 custom foods in there. And it's not as nice
solid.
as the Salter, but you get your own code. You write your own codes down. So I would always like the ability to add my own stuff, because something like that, it comes in a book, right? The pamphlet, and it's like you go through like 1,000 numbers, and it has all apples, all that stuff in there. So when you put the apple on there, you put the code in, boom. So you got. I don't know. That's why I like that, because you just search by a.
I've never even done this whole like coding.
This is pretty good.
Yeah.
That was a test. It was a fire alarm test. That's Ness. Send a check. I want to talk about tricks, little tricks and things. People always email me. I don't understand why they do, but I'm going to address it. They talk about, I'm short on protein. What do I do?
I always have backups constantly for everything.
But here's the thing: if you're short on protein and you're stuck on fat and you can't go anywhere with the carbs, egg whites.
Egg whites, shake if I
isolate. Yep.
Yeah.
You can't obviously have beef. because it's got fat.
Right.
So I've always gone to egg whites, isolate. It doesn't affect the carbs and the fat as much or at all. Carbs, you know, I need to hit I don't know how these people have problems hitting carbs, but that's just crazy to me.
I
You
do.
do? But your macros are very high.
Yeah.
But, you know, again, sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
It's very minimal. I think one serving gives you like what, almost a gram of protein. It's not going to kill you if a little over. NutriBio has that Carbo Max.
Yeah.
So you know after your
Cream of
workout,
rice.
I've used
you
something
can
like
throw that. How much fat is in this?
Cream of rice, nothing.
Oh, nothing. Okay, so cream of
Yeah.
rice, yeah.
Oat bran has the fat.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
like
2.5.
similar to oatmeal.
Yeah, yeah.
But the cream of rice cakes don't have any fat. It has
No.
1 gram of protein. if
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
Regular white rice has
That's
no
true, too.
fat.
Yeah, I've looked at. Yeah, so you need these things that will help you if these are at the limit and one's low, you need something. And my trick with fat is, you know, everyone says, oh, if I'm low on fat, what do I have? Some people just say, oh, have oil, have coconut oil. But, you know, 1 tablespoon of coconut oil is 16 grams of fat. So what are you going to do? Like take a medicine dropper to get 3 grams of fat? My key is fish oil pills.
Okay, yeah.
Each pill is 1 gram of fat, no protein.
That's easy.
So it's just like, all right, so if you're short, most people are short by like what, 3, 4, 5 grams of fat, take 5 fish oil pills. Probably good for you anyway.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so
Spread them out.
yeah, so it won't affect the other macros. It keeps everything in range. So
Oh, that's a good one.
yeah, I know.
I thought of it.
Of course, you know.
Or cookies.
I think any other tips I have is constantly always being prepared too. I don't ever want to get somewhere or something unexpectedly happens and I'm not prepared. Like I always have rice cakes on me. I always have protein powder
I like that, yeah.
in like containers, like in my car, on my desk, like wherever, even in my gym bag. I have. I don't like. I don't like prefer like any protein bars or anything like that. But if I'm in a gym where like my mom's called me before after the gym, she's like, oh, I need you to come do something. I'm like, I need my post workout meal. Like I need someone to like hold me over. I just have it just in case. And this sounds so like cliche, but if you're not prepared, you're gonna throw off the rest of your day. You could get hangry.
Yeah.
You could
Stress
just
levels,
mess
yeah,
everything up, especially during prep. I think like I get super stressed out if I'm not, close to being on target. So that's my tip.
Talk about scales, right?
Scales.
Any tips?
Yeah.
Tips and tricks?
Tricks and tips when I was prepping. So I used to use Sundays and Wednesdays to cook for half the week and just kind of store my food away. And this year that changed. I think it was Sophie who was talking about freezing and storing it in the freezer and then pulling it out day by day. So I tried that this time around, which was a lot better actually. Yeah, that worked.
Yeah, that's really good.
So you can cook it, freeze it.
Cook it, freeze it,
unthaw it,
and then
defrost.
defrost when you need it. Take it out.
Like the
And
night
label the
before.
bags.
Yeah.
Weigh
Like
it out. label
Sophie has a
everything.
meal hack. Check it out in the tough table of contents. Meal hacks with Sophie. Yeah, she'll weigh it out and
I never
mark.
understood that.
Yeah, and mark it on the bag. So if she needs X amount of protein, she'll pull out 3. She needs 90 grams of protein. She'll pull out 3 30-gram bags.
And even if you're not in prep, sometimes if I have like a couple weekends, like I just had a back-to-back weekends where I had to come to New York, so I didn't have a lot of time cooking, so I cooked some stuff like beforehand, froze it, and it's like already ready to defrost this week, just because I have so much things going on. I guess I don't have time to
How do those
cook
people
all day on Sunday.
cook on Sunday and have it on Friday?
I can't do shit like that.
I can do
if
it.
that food's cooked, I won't eat it.
I can go
2
all the way up
days.
to Saturday.
Yeah.
He hates
Depending on what it
leftovers.
is.
Okay.
I like watch
Is
stuff
that
towards the end of the
Really?
week. If
I
it's
can't-
like
I can't
vegetables or
eat that
something,
all the time.
I'll be like, oh, these look a little slimy. Those are over. But chicken, I have cooked on Sunday and go all the way to Saturday.
Yeah?
Fully. Yep. And I've been fine. I mean, obviously I check it
Yeah.
on like Friday or Saturday.
Shauna defrost chicken.
Yeah.
It'll be in there for like a month, uncooked, and then she'll like cook it and feed it to me.
By a month, he needs 3 days, guys.
Oh,
Another
geez.
thing I remembered that I used to do because I was putting away the sweet potatoes you bought from Costco yesterday. And I already had a couple sweet potatoes underneath the cabinet, and they had gone bad, and I was upset that I wasted those, and that they went bad. They did smell really bad. I used to chop up the sweet potatoes and freeze them. That way they don't go bad, and you don't have a frozen block of sweet potato.
Oh, yeah.
And then you can just dump it on the tray and put it in the oven and cook it that way. You know?
We found out that Rogue is allergic to potatoes and beef. And we've been, she had a bad allergy to that and everything outside too. And she's been competing, so any of her extra show day food I've been giving to Rogue. And all of a sudden she had rashes all over her body and swelling in her eyes and her ears.
Because what do we eat on show day?
Yeah.
Sweet potato.
The thing she's allergic to the most is potatoes. And I was just like, oh, he has all these potatoes actually. Here you go, Rogue.
Yeah. Wow.
Have fun.
Interesting.
So that sucks.
Yeah.
But I'm not allergic to potatoes.
And I have one.
Oh, you guys eat the potatoes raw. I think that's kind of weird.
Wait, who eats them raw?
Not raw, with the skin.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, all of a sudden I saw them one day.
I take the potato, I let it
to that.
sit for a while so it's like mushy, I hollow out, and then I put pumpkin in
I think
there.
that's a good tip, trick.
Chewy.
Gooey sweet potatoes.
Like if it's like a
With
cute,
the skin.
If it's a cute little sweet potato
I eat the whole
and you
thing with
bake
skin.
it, it gets really sweet and delicious.
Yeah, I like the skin.
Every time I have like baked
I peel
potatoes
the
and
skin off
sweet
every
potatoes,
time.
I always like scrape it out.
Save the skin,
too.
send it over here.
I'm like,
Me too.
Yeah,
Or I
those
peel it
skin-
first.
Save
and
the
then
skin,
cut it
I'll
off.
eat it all.
yeah.
I'll send it over in a bag.
I think the skin though does have like, doesn't it? taste
Grandma
better?
told me that.
Yeah.
It's
Wait.
fiber.
One of the
Back in the
truths.
day,
I feel like the skin on everything
didn't you
is
used
better.
to
Eat the cupcake wrappers.
yes.
I think I seen
Why are
you
you
do that.
afraid to
I've
say
seen you
it?
do that, actually.
I was in that was
What?
fourth or fifth grade.
Cupcake wrappers.
Yeah, people
Why?
bringing cupcakes, you know, the wrappers.
I've seen it
Yeah.
like this
Someone
year or
dared
last
me
year.
to people
You did?
Yeah, people dared me to eat the whole cupcake with the wrapper. So I had like 9 of them with the wrapper.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Why?
And he's still like that. He'll eat the wrapper in front of me like he's showing off, like he's trying to flirt, I think. It's like one of his
You're like
moves.
eating
So that's
paper.
how Shauna.
Yeah.
Like
I eat the wrappers.
that was a secret.
Yeah.
He won you over.
I eat the wrappers.
Interesting.
I eat the wrappers.
Shit.
Yeah.
Not what I'm not talking. So we're good here?
Yeah.
Macro's good?
Yeah, I think so.
Alright, so I want to move this into a new drag and drop. This will be gym tips with Mike Occhipinti. Alright, this is Amanda's husband, the acupuncturist. So we got some tips from Mike, so take it away.
What's up, Tough Table? I'm Mike from the Body Shop Studio out here in Berkeley Heights, New Jersey. I've had my own personal training studio for the last 7, almost 8 years now. I also work as a strength coach part-time at a local high school where we'll train anywhere from 80 to 120 athletes on any given day. One of the things I want to talk today about is using equipment and machines the way they were intended to be used. Okay? One quick example that pops into my head is the hammer strength chest press. Okay, I see a lot of people performing this exercise sitting sideways and pushing across their body. Now, I'm sure this exercise started somewhere on Instagram. That's where a lot of poor information is these days, unfortunately. But if you think about the movement at the joint, the movement is you're decreasing your range of motion. Okay, when you decrease the range of motion, we're going to get less muscle activation, we're going to get less strength improvements, and therefore we're going to get less growth. Okay, so let's focus on doing a full chest press through the full range of motion, using as much weight as possible where we're still able to control the weight. Also, if you took a look at some of the best bodybuilders in the world or the best athletes in the world and you looked at their training programs, you probably wouldn't be super impressed, because what these guys do is they're using basic movements, they're just doing them better than everyone else, and they're working a lot harder. And that's the key to success, is the effort level, not necessarily the exercise selection. So whatever it is that you do, make sure you work hard, use the machines the way they were intended to be used. One other thing I notice a lot of people doing these days is wearing weightlifting belts throughout the gym, doing movements such as bicep curls or tricep push downs or even bench press. Okay, there is zero reason to wear a weight belt when doing those exercises. The only time you should ever be wearing a belt is if you're doing heavy deadlift or heavy squats. Outside of that, leave the belt in the bag. If anything, it's actually hurting you, because instead of using your own core muscles to brace, the weight belt acts as a brace. All right, back to you guys.
Thank you, Mike. And now I want to go into our next segment, which is going to be Tough Table Trivia. so here we go. Question number 1. All right, so 1 in 3 adults has high blood pressure, which is the leading cause of stroke. So, which state has the highest rate of hypertension as per a 2015 survey? A, Louisiana, B, Texas, C, West Virginia, or D, Tennessee? Are we ready? Here we go.
A total guess.
And Taylor has B. Shauna has A. C. And A.
Come on,
the
you have
answer
fun.
is C. So who had C?
Wow.
Nice
Rob
job,
is
Rob.
on. Okay, Rob's on the board.
Not what I was thinking.
Literally,
Okay.
never would have thought. What were you thinking?
I was thinking Texas because of all the food and crap they
That
eat.
That's
was
what I
my-
almost got. That's what I
that's
almost
what I
got.
was
almost
thinking.
died in Texas.
You did almost die in Texas.
So
Oh,
now-
when you eat all that barbecue?
Dude, I thought I had barbecue sauce in my lungs. I was like
Well,
on the
that's
bed.
what I
I was
was
on the
thinking,
bed
like,
in a
oh.
fetal position. Like my eyes were hurting. It was bad, so bad. But anyway, all right. So speaking
Good
of
times.
dying on the bed,
Overeating and dying.
that's it. Trainer goes to Texas, dies from overeating.
Too much barbecue.
Question 2. Cholesterol is a waxy, fat-like substance. Your body needs some cholesterol, but too much can lead to heart disease or stroke. These are very depressing questions. Okay.
Seriously.
Question 2. Approximately how many American adults have high LDL or bad cholesterol? How many American adults have high LDL? A, 71 million. B, 47 million. C, 15 million. Or D, 65 million. Write it down, write it down, write it down. Are we ready?
Ready?
And Taylor has D. D.
Ooh, girls
Ah,
against boys.
and the answer is, you're all wrong. The answer is A.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
A lot. It's bad, right?
I was like
Terrifying,
trying to.
yeah.
I was like 65. It should
Yeah,
be
give
71.
the benefit of the
right?
doubt, right?
I'm like,
Sad.
Ready? Question 3. Speaking of macros. Okay, so
Yes.
actually this is not macros, total calories, so that sucks. So forget that.
Oh.
Which of the following has the most amount of total calories? A, 1 pumpkin pie Pop-Tart. B, 1 lemon poppy complete cookie.
What is that?
You never had a complete cookie? Those Lenny
Oh,
and
the
Lenny.
complete. Okay, yep.
That's what they're called, right?
yep.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
just making sure.
They are.
C, 1 cookies and cream Quest bar, or D, 1 serving of Nutribio Muscle Matrix.
Complete total calories.
Mm-hmm.
You ready?
Yes,
Ready.
girl.
Here we go. B, B, D, and B. The answer is B. So it's everyone minus Rob. So everyone's tied up with Rob.
Wow.
You know what's crazy
Go
though?
team.
They all thought that like complete cookies are like healthy.
Yeah.
They're
And that's
not.
another thing with the
That's
labels
the
too.
whole cook.
Yeah, it's the whole
Yeah.
cookie. Everyone looks
Half,
at it.
right?
Yeah, the
Yep.
serving size is half the cookie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're not going to eat just half cookie. No.
They actually started.
I
they
bought a
actually-
box. I bought a box once, and I ate the box in a week.
Yeah.
You can buy this
That's
at Walmart
bad.
for like
Double
$5
what you
for
probably-
about-
I stay away. I stay away.
And now
You
they
should've
do
made
actually
Skittles, I
make
just
the,
ate.
it's like a mini cookie and it's
Yeah, people
It's
probably
like
start
half serving.
complaining.
Yeah. Okay, question 4. Which of the following is not a type of muscle in the human body? A, skeletal. B, cardiac. C, connective. Or D, smooth. Which is not a type of muscle in the human body? This is-
yeah.
And we have A, C, C, and A. The answer is C, connective.
Bye.
I was thinking. I
So
was
who's
thinking.
got to tell you?
I
who's-
did.
not
I
who's
just
got
erased
C?
it.
Rob and Shauna.
Connected
Okay.
as a tissue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh.
All right. Question 5. Last one. Which type of muscle fiber is better suited for powerful and explosive bursts of movement? A, fast twitch muscle. B, reactive muscle fiber. C, slow twitch muscle. Or D, I should say adaptive muscle fiber. All right. Here we go.
Yeah, we should.
A, C, and C, and the answer is A.
Yay.
Like sprints, right?
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's
I
who?
feel like it's
Taylor
always the girls versus the guys.
and
I know,
Shauna.
it's just the way we think.
Oh,
You're
fucking
cheating.
A. Shauna's winning. You guys gotta beat Shauna, man.
Well, I'm not allowed to win anyway, so if I do win, I have to give up my
guys
prize.
gotta eat,
She's on a streak. So
we gotta.
There you go.
Okay.
Javier.
Tough Table Trivia is done. So what we're gonna do is, oh, by the way, Tough Table Trivia is sponsored by NutriBio. So the winner of the points tally from Tough Table Trivia and someone at this table gets to take home this sweet tea Intra Blast. Sorry, sweet tea Intra Blast by NutriBio. Okay, so thank you NutriBio for always helping us out with that. I want to go in now to our next drag and drop, and this is now Amanda Occhipinti, and she'll be doing the acupuncture segment. Acupuncture, there's a point for that.
Rest and recovery is just as important as exercise. You want to make sure that your diet is adequate, full of all of the nutrients, macro and micro, so your body can help recover. You want to make sure you're stretching so your body can help recover. You want to make sure you're getting enough sleep, because if you don't sleep, your body not only can't heal, but it can't grow. Another thing that could be added to your recovery regimen is acupuncture. Acupuncture helps facilitate recovery because it can help manage stress, it can help balance your hormones, and it can help get rid of any lactic acid that could be built up in the muscle. There was a research study done showing professional basketball players who received acupuncture 24 to 48 hours done prior to their main event. The type of acupuncture they received was electroacupuncture. So there were electrical stim units hooked up to the acupuncture needle itself. And at a low frequency, the players who received actual acupuncture, not sham acupuncture, where they used a point 1 centimeter off from the actual acupuncture point, had better scores in their VO2 max, better scores in heart rate variability, better resting heart rates post-exercise, and they had an overall reduced level of lactic acid post-exercise. And that was all just from getting acupuncture with stimulation. Acupuncture can also help facilitate the recovery process using electrostim, because there are different frequencies that can elicit different changes within the body. So if you're looking to get an endorphins response, having a lower frequency treatment could be more beneficial to you. If you're looking to stimulate the muscles and get some norepinephrine secreted, dopamine secreted, higher frequency treatments would be better for you. If you're an athlete, getting your acupuncture prior to the main event within the 24 to 48 hour range would be absolutely appropriate. Another style of acupuncture that can help with recovery is called trigger point. Some may also know it as dry needling, but trigger point is the more technical term. In trigger point, you go through the meridians, which are the lines of the body considered extensions of the nervous system. And along the meridians, you look for sore or Usher points. You can also deviate from the meridian and just go locally and palpate the different muscles or touch the different muscles. And when you press on an active live trigger point, what will happen is you'll get a radiating pain following the pain pathway of that trigger point. You can take an acupuncture needle and insert it into the muscle, and a fasciculation or a contraction will happen post-insertion. That means that the acupuncture point is not only active, but has the potential to be released. And when you release the trigger point, you're releasing the lactic acid in the body to help get recycled to help your body recover. 30% of the time, I've seen in my experience, patients can get sore after trigger point. So if it's your first time doing it, you just want to be wary if you're doing it prior to any special event. But other than that, you should feel some maybe post-treatment soreness, but pretty good 24 hours afterwards. I'm Amanda Occhipinti, and I'm here to talk about acupuncture. There's a point for that.
Thank you, Amanda. So now we're going to move into our next segment, which is going to be questions from the audience.
Hello, people! This is your bleaching talking. Ask me a question.
Okay, so first question is from Leroy, and it's for Shauna. Leroy wants to know, how are you able to fit time in for work, training, posing with teammates, and making competition suits for people and yourself, and find time for yourself?
Well, it's actually, I guess, pretty difficult. I found just really a schedule that I like, and it's not perfect, and it's never going to be perfect, but it's obviously doable because I'm doing it, but I think I know my limits. So like with the suits, I know I can only take on a certain number, and then I just start sending them to Leah or just sending them away because, you know, I know if I can't do a good job or it's going to put me over the edge, I'm going to be stressed out, I'm not going to take on that work. My motto lately is just stress less and get it done. You know, it's if you sit around stressing about it, it's not going to get done. So I find just really utilizing my time, and it doesn't have to match somebody else's schedule. Like you said, you meal prep on Sundays. Like, I would rather just get a whole bunch of suits done, and then, like, I actually cook food for the day in the morning while I'm getting ready for work. I have, like, a system where I can get ready and have something on the stove and kind of work it that way. And then just any projects that I have after I get home from work, after I train, it's even if it's only like 30 or 40 minutes every night, that all adds up to the end of the week. It's like, okay, well, that's like 3 hours of work that I got done during the whole course of the week rather than not doing it at all. And then time for myself. I know everyone is always like, oh, you need self-care, you need time for yourself. Time for yourself doesn't have to be like a spa day or like a whole drawn out I feel like that's what people kind of have in their heads, and it's like, oh, you need to take time for yourself and do that. It's more, for me, it's eating my protein ice cream alone on the couch for 20 minutes at night, or taking a break and watching an episode of something with Ryan. And I mean, I feel like I'm super busy, and it's cyclical throughout the year. Sometimes they're busier than others, but it's a good time.
I can definitely relate. During my prep, work started to get crazy unexpectedly. You just have to do it. You know, you start to work more than 9 hours a day. Then I'm in school. Then I was, this sounds kind of funny, I was baking a ton of cupcakes for my best friend's wedding shower. And so each week, or whenever I had time, I'd make a dozen, freeze them, make a dozen. I had to make over like 7 or 8 dozen of them. Then all the frosting I had to make. Yeah. So whenever I had time, I would do cardio in the morning, I would do posing in the morning, and then I would do more posing after training. It was just, my posing I had a hard time with, so I had to put in like extra time, more than probably like other people did. Yeah. I don't know, you know. So that took up so much. Sometimes I wrote down by the like 15-minute increments of what I needed to get done on a certain day. Like, I was like, 15 minutes you can eat, 15 minutes you need to shower. And it sounds crazy, but I had to get everything done. I'm like, you have to get your paper done, half of it done this night, or else you're gonna fall behind. So
and also just lessens the stress, kind of, because sometimes if you're just like thinking like, oh, I have all of this to do, but then you take it and you actually put it on paper, you're like, oh, well, if I actually put in the work at this time, and this time, like, I actually really do have time to breathe at the end of the day.
Like, oh, you can move this here, so for sure.
It's gratifying checking things off too.
I love the slash.
Me too. I'm so for that. Yes.
I mean, she's good. I think she's good with managing her time. She's back in prep again. She didn't have the burden of all the suits last time. The prep, the posing, learning new classes and stuff like that. But I feel like you've been doing well. I feel like we work pretty good together. I feel like one of the big bonuses was getting the cardio equipment at the home.
Yeah, that was a major
We got 2 elliptical. We got the Bowflex M7 with a high intensity trainer.
That's ideal. And you have a posing room. Right here.
And then we have the elliptical. So as we, wake up, I wake up and get my cardio done. She can do the cardio. She doesn't have to go to the gym. It just saves time. You do what you got to do. So that I feel like that's helped out, a lot. So you got that. She just keeps adding to the accomplishments. I'm proud of all that. I'm proud of the suits she makes, her wins, her staff, the way she steps up for the team in ways that can't really be measured. So I think doing a good job.
I agree.
Doing a good job. Doing a good job. Question 2 from Cody for Rob. He wants to know: would you consider yourself more of a Papa Shango or IRS man?
I don't even know what that means.
Oh man, so give this a little bit of thought. So let me kind of take you back to when I was a little kid.
His mic is live, right?
Yeah, of course.
We're good.
Just checking.
All right. So back when I was a little kid, in 91 or so, when Papa Shango made his debut. Everyone was big into Hulk Hogan. He was the guy, but Ultimate Warrior was always my guy, right? So Papa Shango comes out, and if you guys don't know who Papa Shango is, this guy was terrifying.
Yeah.
And if you're a 6-year-old kid, you have no idea what the hell you're looking at. I literally thought I was watching the devil in a wrestling ring.
Yep.
He came out and he had a smoking skull, his face was painted white, he was terrifying, right? So Ultimate Warrior being my guy, Papa Shango randomly put a curse on him one day. He was throwing up, he was bleeding, he was keeled over on the ring, and I'm like, this is awful. So, looking back on it now, of course, being a badass that he had the inverted shoulder breaker, which is a pretty tough finishing move. Give you one of those for that. But the problem is with him is that he lasted about a year and a half.
Yeah.
They thrust him right into this main event picture where he was supposed to be fighting the Ultimate Warrior. Then they just kind of scrapped it, and Ultimate Warrior fought Randy Savage at SummerSlam for the title. So he kind of went nowhere with it. It was kind of upsetting to me, gotta be honest.
They tried to push it, and it just fell short.
It just fell short, and then you never heard from him again. A couple house shows here and there. IRS came in, and I kind of respect IRS a little bit more, being a 32-year-old who still watches
Back
wrestling.
in the day, you're like, who is this guy?
Well, what is this guy? What's he all about? He was wondering over. He told Tatanka that he had to pay taxes on a headdress that Chief J. Strongbow gave him, which is awesome. But as you get older, you kind of look at it and you're like, well, this actually, I understand why people hated him so much. Now myself, being a taxpayer, and I'm on time with all my taxes. No, don't get me wrong. I can understand where this is coming from. There's some tax cheats out there, and they got to pay up. So I'm gonna go with IRS on this one.
Pay your taxes when they're due, or IRS will audit you.
Absolutely.
Toughest thing. So you're going with IRS.
I'm going IRS, except for the weak ass finisher. It was a flying clothesline like that. Papa Shango had him beat in the.
Well, I mean, IRS and my guy, Ted DiBiase.
Tag champs.
Yup, were Money Incorporated.
Yes.
So my little plug is you got to listen to that. You hear that? Toughest thing.
Everybody's got a price.
Right? Everybody's got a price.
That's right.
So Money in.
Money in.
So there you go, Cody.
Well, one more. Can I add a little something? Cool. So 15th anniversary of Raw was in Hartford, Connecticut, and they did this like gimmick battle royal. All these like old school guys came back. I think Iron Sheik was there. Some of the Meat Street Posse. Repo Man was in there.
Yes.
But the best part about it, IRS. I don't remember who he eliminated, but he actually ended up winning the battle royal. So he's celebrating the ring. All of a sudden, that music hits. Ted DiBiase comes out. DiBiase hands him a briefcase. He looks inside of it, hops over the top rope. Ted DiBiase wins the battle royal. IRS team player.
Even better.
Can't get better than that.
Even better. Everybody's at a price.
That's right.
Everybody's at a price. There we go. Okay. Question 3. This is from Ellen. For me. This is small here. I gotta look in here. All right, for Ryan. When you have changed jobs and now you have to work out at 5:30 or 6, I'm guessing a.m. Yeah. Oh, in the morning. Okay. In the morning. What do you recommend for healthy breakfast that isn't so heavy on the stomach? Should you have some carbs or protein, or just stick to protein only before a 5 a.m. workout? This is always rough. I get this question a lot. If you have these big meals early and then you go to train a half hour later, especially if it's something like legs where this is compressing, you're going to get nauseous, you're going to be sluggish. If you have to work out that early, I like to eat a regular meal, regular size meal, anywhere from like an hour and a half to 2 hours before. If you're working out at 5:30 in the morning, it's counterproductive to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning just to eat. So you're gonna have to wake up a little earlier, 5:30, 6 o'clock. So maybe try to be up at 4:30, get other things done, go to bed earlier the night before so you get the sleep. And then I would definitely stick to something like the protein shake, but you got to get some carbs and fat in. I think you got to have that. Again, everyone's body type is going to be different. Some people require more carbs. Some people have a slow metabolism. They're trying to lose weight. You can get away with having less, but things like rice cake, peanut butter and jelly, something light. You got to experiment with that. Whatever makes you feel best. Definitely with the leg days where you're pushing and this is compressing, you're gonna have an issue, an issue there. So I definitely suggest having all 3 of those macros. It's just the what you're having, the amounts you're having, you're gonna have to play with, and that's really my best input.
It's gonna differ from person to person.
Yeah.
You have to see how your body reacts to how much you're intaking, but you definitely have to put something into your system, because you get a lot of people with the fasted
fasted cardio,
all that stuff in the morning.
Not
not at all. But yeah, you got to play around with it, see what you can take and what you can handle, and take it from there.
Cool. Agreed?
Yeah, I like the rice cake because you don't have to like cook it like if you would have like oatmeal or something.
I just need something quick.
Yeah, even and also what I'd hate about having to train so early is that I'd be like, I don't want to waste these macros so early in the day, and then you know, so I would always do the rice cake and like even like a half a scoop of protein powder and like a little bit of peanut butter maybe on the rice cake, and that'd be
good.
quick and easy.
All right, question 4 from Brittany Hoffman. This is for the panel, so anyone who's got input, you know, I have my own as well. Can you lose body fat and gain muscle at the same time? If I had a nickel for every time I heard this one, I would be too. Yeah.
But don't you have to gain body fat to make muscle?
It's a weird. That's what I'm saying. Like you're on the right track. Yeah.
Isn't this like the newbie gains period?
Yes. Yes. So what I feel and what I think is beginners can. If you've never lifted weights, okay, you've never had that type of stimulation, and your body fat is higher than you want it to be, once you start lifting weights, you have more activity, which could lead to less body fat, but now you're stimulating muscle fiber, which you've never done before, so you can gain muscle. So it's almost like people who are brand new can do both at the same time in a significant amount. That body recomp, you know what I'm saying? It's like you've done shit, and now all of a sudden you're doing it properly. That's when you can do things at the same time. I mean, there's also, I've seen people who are on a really shitty program, like not working out enough. It's all cardio. They're doing things like a bum. You know, you can see some stuff there too. But once you're consistent, you know, once you're consistently lifting over the years and you've been doing it right or even close to right, you know, the body sorts itself out, and it's very difficult to gain significant muscle and lose significant fat. Yes, there are fluctuations in everyone, but it's very hard when you're a trained athlete, okay, to gain significant amounts of muscle and lose significant amounts of body fat at the same time. Once you've done it for a while, you almost got to pick a path. You need calorie surplus, more calories coming in than you're burning in order to provide an environment to grow muscle. And to lose fat, you need to take in less calories than your, you need to take in less calories than your, what? You need to burn more calories than you're taking in, yes, okay?
So what about when, like, say they're in preseason maybe, or they're starting prep and the scale's not really moving, but they're looking different. What is that? It's like the same thing? Is there like a little window where it's like that recomp, or is that just like your body doesn't know what's going on?
I honestly think that's all about momentum and cracking open.
Okay.
You know, you can be weighing the same, but body fat is still coming down.
Right.
You know, at that time, you're not putting on significant amounts of muscle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're looking different, leaner, tighter, which means the body fat's going down. I wouldn't say that the body, the muscle's increasing because you spent all that time trying to increase the muscle.
Right.
Now all of a sudden when you restrict, it's not going to increase then. At that point, you know, body fat's being slashed, but the weight scale number hasn't caught up. I don't think that's this, because if you're doing preseason, you've already trained. You're a trained athlete, you know.
Yeah.
So.
And I've got a lot of clients back home that actually come in and they just want to lose inches. You know, obviously we want to get them to the healthiest point possible, but they don't really care about the number on the scale. So if the number on the scale is kind of staying where it is, but we do circumference measurements and they're, you know, a 34, but then we do it again and they're 32, they're perfectly fine with that.
Yeah.
So it really all depends on the person too.
Yeah.
That's good. You have clients like that because most people want to watch the scale.
Yeah, exactly.
And I have to kind of like lead them to getting circumferences and tape measures.
Right.
Yeah. Because if you watch the scale, then you start to go crazy.
Right. You go crazy, you get a little demoralized. And it's just not good for anybody.
Yeah, the scale's rough. It's daddy though.
Well, what about like water weight? Is that like a real?
Yeah. Water weight, yeah. If you have a high sodium meal, you're over with your water, then under. Girls, when they have their period, it's 3-4 pounds. Girls will weigh in 3-4 pounds heavy, and they don't tell me. So I have to ask them. They're like, oh yeah, PMS. It's like, why don't you tell me? Because you gained 3 pounds, so I'm thinking you went to the buffet.
Oh, I say it. I have to say it. I'm like, just
a lot of things. Do a lot of things. PMS, eating late, even if your macros are set. Just because you eat late doesn't mean you gain body fat, but that means that food's sitting on you. So if I need to weigh in the next morning and you ate late, that weight can be higher. If you don't tell me, I'm like, what happened? You gotta tell me. You know, waking up earlier. If you're always waking up at 7 o'clock to weigh yourself, and that's been the thing, but now all of a sudden you wake up at 4:30 one day, and that's a weigh-in day, you can be heavier because your body is in this pattern. If you have your period, if you've been off with the sodium, if you've been neglecting water, if you haven't shit in 2 days, like
It adds up.
it adds up.
Yeah.
You know?
You know, we've got a piece of equipment that actually.
You know?
So like,
That's true.
if somebody's always been eating like, just say like a shake before bed, and then shakes, and now all of a sudden they're having like, instead they switch their macros to have like a dinner, like 6 ounces of chicken and like a huge salad.
Sounds like Sophie.
They're gonna weigh in heavier, right? I was just thinking about that the other day. So,
yeah, because there's something inconsistent.
I definitely noticed that.
Yeah, I noticed, like, especially like today, I have a weigh-in tomorrow, and I'm like, okay, like I didn't really get to eat that much before Tough Table. Like all my food's gonna be back at the end of the day. I should probably, even though it sucks, and I'm not gonna eat like my usual food, I should probably just pick stuff that's like a little less dense and that's more like a shake and stuff like that's just not gonna physically weigh as much in my
But
body.
you have the advantage. You live with me. You know, if your weight's high, I can look at you
He's
and be
watching
like,
you.
you can be like, you look great.
All the time.
Well, I just
You
mean
eat
for
late.
everybody else, like if they think about that.
They just need to.
Yeah.
They just need to tell me.
Yeah.
And the thing is too, like, just because you're telling me, fine, but you know,
You should
gotta
try to
make,
stay consistent.
Yes, you got to make smart decisions. If we're getting down to the rope, and it's like every weigh-in, it's like,
Counts.
oh, this happened and this happened.
There's
This,
always
now you got to stop making things happen. We got to get to a point where I get accurate data, because you shouldn't always chase the scale. But guess what? The scale will always follow suit.
It's gonna
You
tell
know?
a story.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, we know, like, you can be leaner, but we know what weight around you need to be.
Yeah.
If you're lean and we're getting there and you're still weighing 196, I'm still like, we're not ready.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Kevin just goes
you
home.
can plus or minus a couple of pounds, but to be, you know, the scale eventually should follow suit. Should. It doesn't move. Sometimes it moves first. Sometimes it moves. You know, you could be on point for 2-3 weeks and nothing moves, and then that's when people give up. And then, you know, if you would have waited one more day, you might have been down 6. that's just what happens.
You do a good job of asking too. You're like, well, how do you look? Like,
Yeah.
How do you
you look?
What,
Did you
feel?
shit?
Yeah.
Is it PMS? Like,
Yeah.
what's your water? Like,
well, this is the stuff we have to talk about. You know, like,
yeah, you got.
like,
I mean,
if I'm sitting here
for
stressed
com-
because I'm
yeah,
over 2 pounds,
yeah, for
then
competitors,
I
you gotta
feel
talk
like-
about that
yeah.
stuff. I've had people who will, they'll weigh themselves, and I'll be like, yo, is this pre-shit or post-shit? They're like, this weigh-in is before shit. I'm like, all right. So then they'll shit, and then they'll be like, oh, I shit today. So I'm like, all right, so I have to mark that down. It's like, this is a pre-shit weight, and they shit today.
This is
Yes.
a BM.
Is that in your new?
No, it's just, I talk to the people who
You should put like a tick box.
Yeah.
Shit today.
So what you should do is, before you shit, you should weigh
job.
yourself, and then shit,
Ew.
and then weigh yourself
Oh my
again,
God.
and then
send
send
you
me
the
that
weight.
information, and I'll deduct it from your morning weigh-in.
And
that's your weight.
Instead of like a little shit emoji,
Yeah.
That's your non-shit
here's your
weight.
reward.
I'm not sure what to give this, but I'm gonna go with this.
Oh, okay. I was just flipping it around. But yeah. So all right. So for Brittany, you know, if you're new,
Is that where we were?
Sorry.
How did we get here?
Sorry about the shit talk. But if you're new, yes,
lot of it.
yes.
I just had a really funny thought.
Tell us.
We're being truthful.
Tell us, Sixth
I
Man.
don't know if I.
I'm
Yes.
gonna watch. I mean, Avi knows too much.
I feel
Avi
like I know
Avi
what
knows
he's,
too much.
I feel like I might know what he's gonna say.
You might or you might not.
So like, I knew somebody who like.
Ryan.
Alright, I'm done.
Moving on. So for Brittany, for new people, it's easier to lose fat and gain muscle at the same time. But for trained athletes, it's a little more difficult. Good programming can do it, maybe, but in a nutshell, it's like you need a calorie surplus to grow. And if you grow and you're natural, a little bit of body fat comes with it. You can't just put on 100% muscle,
Right.
no matter how good you eat. And to get shredded, you need to be in a deficit where you're taking away bits of body fat while preserving muscle.
I want to piggyback off that question. That was body fat versus muscle. Is there a way to look at body fat versus strength, which is what I think people neglect to think about and look at?
Meaning what?
As your body fat goes down,
You're weaker.
your strength getting weaker. Is that?
I mean, to a point. Because if you're a fat slob, you're inefficient. is the sweet spot. If you're a fat sloth, I mean, then again, I don't know, powerlifters, they're so fat.
Well, there's fat guy strength.
Yeah, it's fat guy strength.
It's a strength.
Yeah.
So like for somebody,
fat, not sloths.
so somebody getting ready or competing or getting into it, as they start to shred and lose pounds and body fat, if they see their strength start to decrease, should they get worried?
No, it's normal. You gotta fight through it. You gotta fight through it. For me, it's always been, I'm fat, and yes, I can be strong, but then once I would start to diet and I look better, I'm more motivated, so I get a bump.
Try harder.
Yes, I get a bump. But then when you get deep prep, you get weaker, you know, because your body fat's down, you don't have as much cushion in the joints, you know, hormone levels start to go down, you just gotta fight like hell through it.
I was doing squats the other day, just thinking like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to do these for reps for food, and this is really heavy, and it's not even the weight I need to use. This is great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, reps with food. Thanksgiving food drive. You guys better send your dollars. Ready? Next question?
Ready.
Next question from the one and only Kenny Jefferson. This is for me and Shauna. How do you guys combat or dispel women's doubts and fears that working out and lifting weights will lead to a manly, less feminine look? You can go.
Okay. I think that it's a misconception about how hard it is to actually gain muscle.
Meaning people think it's just they pick up a weight and they fucking look
Right.
like a man.
You have to try really hard to put on muscle.
Muscle.
Especially as a female, you
Yeah.
agree, right? And that what really is going to affect you more is your diet and, you know, dumbbells don't make you fat. Cupcakes make you fat, or bulky, I should say.
Yes.
Cookies. We're gonna add that because some people are like, oh, I don't want my legs to, you know, look too big, and it's like they're not gonna look big. They're gonna look big if the muscle grows and they're still fat.
Yeah.
Right. If the muscle grows but the fat goes down, they'll look nice.
Nice.
Diet shrinks you. Weight training shapes you.
Okay.
You know. So if you look one way and you just diet, you're gonna look the same but just smaller. You just scale down.
Yeah.
But you're not going to add really any shape. If you want shape, and I hate the word tone. Like, I just want to be toned. I don't want to gain muscle. Please don't make me gain muscle. You know.
It's like you're already mad lazy anyway. You don't go to the gym. What do you think? You're going to walk in the gym and be too jacked? It's like, yeah, okay.
And,
Sorry.
and I don't,
That's my problem. If I walk in the gym and see it,
you get so jacked and so shredded overnight. It's like, oh my god, you look like a man.
And there are so many benefits to training weight training, especially as a woman too. It fights osteoporosis. You know, it's just great for your overall health. And then I don't know if this. I was reading a lot about cellulite like last year, and about how if the muscle is bigger and there's a little bit less fat, it kind of pushes together, and then that cellulite smooths out. Obviously, if you have like cottage cheese like type looking thing, it's never going to be perfect. But
a lot of those come with people who have a lot of body fat.
A lot of body fat. So if you do lose the weight and you are building a little bit of muscle,
and steady, take care of your skin.
Yeah, then all that should be nice and tight and smooth and not the way you don't want it to be.
The way I deal with it is proper information, education. I try to demonstrate to people, and people talk to me like, oh, I don't want to look like a bodybuilder. It's like, what? What are you talking about?
Follow my directions.
Yeah, what do
you also have a lot of photos too that you can show.
Yeah, but that's what I try to do. It's like I try to show them.
Weights, you know?
I try to show them a natural lifter versus a natural lifting female versus a steroid using enhanced female. It's like this steroid enhanced female is probably the thing that you have in your head that you don't want to look like. One, you probably don't have the genetics or the drive to look like that anyway. And two, you're probably not taking the shit needed to look like that. Right. So you need to know the misconception between a natural lifter and a enhanced lifter. Then you got to have a breakdown of the classes. Try to show these people. This is bikini. This is figure. This is fit body. And this is women's bodybuilding. You see the difference? Like, pick and choose.
All of them work out.
Yes, all of them work out. They have different approaches. They have different genetics. They have different things like that. So you have to really be, I try to show people the difference between natural and enhanced, and I try to show people the difference in the athletes with the different classes. You know, you got to give them that type of knowledge. And it's not, again, it's not so easy to just go into the gym and be so jacked. I wish it was that. I wish I,
Yeah.
you know, it's like,
Yeah, don't we all?
yeah, it's just like,
of course.
we're trying, we gotta make this grow, we need to make this grow. You know, and a big thing in that too is like, you know, it's genetics. Like, you know, you have genetics, you know, how tall is the person? How much muscle can this person put on? Not everyone is just gonna, some people are gonna go into the gym, pick up some weights and grow like a weed.
Like,
but it's very rare.
Right, like Colleen, she's so compact, so her little muscle that she puts on is gonna look
Exponential,
bigger.
yes.
Where like Taylor, you
have to put on more.
Yeah.
Right.
To look fuller. It's the same problem with me in
Yeah.
bodybuilding. It's,
Yeah.
it's just,
Symmetry.
you're so tall. So my thing is just educating people, letting them know the difference between natural and enhanced and the classes, and this is what you can look like, and you know, or I show them some of the other transformation photos for people who aren't competitors. Like, look how much fat was lost. This person doesn't look manly. This person feels good about themselves. You know, they go to the beach and they have a great time. Like, it's just all about having photos and things and media to show people. That's how I really, you know, get away. And then what happens is most of these fucking people, they do the transformation. It's like, oh, I want to compete now. It's like,
That's how it goes.
motherfucker, you just said that you didn't want to do this, and now all of a sudden you see you're looking good in the mirror, and now it's like, I want to step on stage.
Well, because I guess they get
That's a whole
lifestyle.
Now they, now
Because,
they
like,
get it.
you're not going, like, it's pretty intimidating if you're not doing it.
Yeah.
To think like, oh, I have to do all this
I
stuff.
mean,
But then once they start doing it, they're like, oh, this really isn't that
So,
bad. Maybe I
yeah.
could go a little bit more. I guess, right?
yeah, and then
I don't know.
also, I mean, go ahead, go to the gym, get jacked. If you get too jacked, just stop.
Yeah, they
Just
do
lay
that.
down, be fat.
Yeah, so yeah, but also they think they're gonna go to the gym and walk on the incline for 15 minutes, and they're gonna be fucking shredded 300 pounds. So I don't know. Proper education. That's the key.
Yeah.
Moving on. Question 7. Sophie Brown, Destroyer, World Champion, Fit Body. For Taylor, she wants to know, being a figure and Fit Body Pro, which category do you like better? And how the hell do you bake all those cupcakes and goodies during prep and not lick the bowl?
All right, so first question. I think I really loved Fit Body. This is the first year that I have done it.
Fit Body's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
What'd you say?
Fit Body's awesome.
Yeah, I'm really glad that I tried it. I think one of the shows like didn't have pro figure, and I was like, well, let's just try Fit Body. Like,
Yeah.
why not? You know, I've seen other people get into it. I love that there's so many different poses. Figure, it's very hard. You have to, for a pro, figure pro, you have to be on point for those 4 poses. You
poses.
have to. And every single one, you can't have a weak point. When you have a weak point, it could destroy.
It's always there.
Like,
If you have a
the
weak
destroyer
point,
knows.
you have 4 poses.
Yeah.
So if you have a weak point in one of those poses, then 25% of the time you have a weak point.
Right, exactly,
it's
the whole
like-
time. Whereas Fit Body, you are able to not necessarily hide, but you can work a little better on certain poses. It's not just the 4 strict poses, like where there's
Yeah.
no movement. You know, you can move your leg a certain way, try to like hit your biceps a different way back or whatever, like double back by, front by,
Yeah.
whatever, things like that. I know we worked on certain things. So Fit Body is one of my favorites now. Then the other question was, how do I not lick any cupcakes or anything? I think that, like we mentioned earlier, like no licking, no anything like that. But when I'm in prep, I'm in the whole mindset that I'm committed to myself and I'm dedicated into this, and it's cheating. A lick is not going to ruin my whole prep, obviously. And I hate when people say that too, but it's going to ruin it for me. You know, like I like to go in 100% and do this for myself as well. And when I feel like if I'm licking, like, you know, here and there, or I eat a cookie or something, it's
You said it. It
I
won't
can't.
destroy you, but
yeah.
what happens is if you sacrifice just that one time,
Yes.
it makes it that much easier
Yes.
to sacrificing it.
again, and I mean, once you start, you can't
Yeah, you
stop.
can't stop.
But I don't want to get up on stage and know that like I cheated here and there. Like I will feel bad about it. Even
Yeah.
if I win or even if I lose, I'll still like not feel
You did
like
everything you could, yeah.
I'll feel like I got up there and did 80% of the work. I didn't do 110. So I mean, I don't know if that sounds like corny or anything,
No,
but
I'm saying
I mean,
honestly, I'm
I
saying
do it all the time, and I just spray water on everything right after I'm done.
Yeah.
But no, I'm pretty good, and it relaxes me during prep. It's like one thing I can do that just gets my mind off of like any stress or anything like that. So even
Some people stress not being able to lick the bowl, but there are other people like me and you, obviously, who would lick the bowl and then stress about it for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
So
everything. Yep.
everyone's stress is relative. So.
On that note, can you actually pass me one of those cookies?
Yeah, let's get,
Of course.
I want half. I want a half of the pumpkin one.
Oh, we got pumpkin ones now.
I think.
Yeah. So there's brown butter pumpkin oatmeal cookies. And then regular chocolate chip.
For everybody who calls me basic, here's
Smell it.
Yeah.
I'm taking
Yeah,
half
that's the
here.
point where
I'm gonna take a full pumpkin.
Market and I
Yeah.
see candy aisle, I can actually smell
Good.
the chocolate
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
out of the
I used to
wrappers.
walk by like the bakery section, just like look, just looking, no
Oh, right?
touching.
I'm talking my mouth full.
Are you ready for what?
The next question. I think that was the last one, but I skipped over Cody.
Yes.
All right, so Cody, for me. I gotta stop chewing.
Want me to read it?
This is amazing, by the way.
Okay, yeah, he's good. All right, so Cody, for me, in reference to posing sessions, can you elaborate on their exclusive? I can't say that word.
Exclusivity.
Thank you. To Team SUF. Yeah, I've heard a lot about this. There's a lot of people from other teams, or they don't have a team, and they'll reach out to me for posing because they see my beautiful Janice and the work that we do together. But you know, at this point, I do keep the posing sessions exclusive to Team SUF. A lot of people said that I can make a lot more money opening the doors to all these other people, but you know, in the end, I don't want to help an athlete who is coached by someone else that may end up being in my path. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna put all my work into my athletes, or you know, they bleed SUF, and I got someone who just wants to come here and use me for a talent, and they go elsewhere with another coach or does it on their own, and then we show up show day, and wow, my own style and my own perfection is used against me.
My own tips and tricks right
Yes,
in front of my eyes.
so-
To be fair, you're a client too, though.
Yeah, so that's yeah. So my thing is it's exclusive because
It's competitive.
yes,
that's
it's
all.
competitive. I want to win. I want to win.
Right.
I want my people to win. So I'm not going to help someone beat me. So what? They can give a shout out to their trainer? Like
Right.
no,
Right.
that's not happening. If your trainer was so good, tell him to step his game up. Okay.
Well, they could save that by just joining SUF.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. You know, if you're so into my posing, well, what do you think my preps are like? You don't think it's going to correlate across the board? So you know, I refuse to create stronger enemies for myself or you know, my team. You know, I do think in terms of the posing, whether it be me or her, what SUF EPC has to offer, our capabilities, some of the things that I've built, the technology. I don't think there's anybody in the game who can match it. I don't think there is anyone. I don't think there is anyone. I am confident in saying that. I see all these people, some of these nerds out there who overcomplicate preps and do all this weird stuff, and then they go on stage and they present themselves like fools. So it's like, who's the fool?
Gotta have the complete package.
Yeah, you gotta have the complete package. So stay in your books and keep doing what you're doing, bookworms, because it's not really helping you. What we do here is I demand perfection, and I will just hammer people and hammer people and hammer people. But at the end, I can't want it more than the athlete. You show me you want it, guess what? I want it more. I will want it more. If you want it, I want it too. So that's why I keep it exclusive to us. There are a bunch of posing people in the industry, and I don't mean this as a knock to them. There's some people and some names out there in the NPC world who think they're gods in posing, and I don't think they're much at all. I think we have the best approach and one of the best setups, and we provide the most to the clients, whether they be local, whether they travel here, whether it be online.
Reviewing.
You know, these people come here, and we hammer them into the ground. We give them different looks, different perspectives, the video, this and that, the video breakdowns, and I really want to keep that exclusive to this team. And at the end of the day, I've gotten to a point now where I don't have to worry about opening the doors. Why do I have to open the doors? Guess what? All the big names are coming here. I don't. Who else do I need to come in here? Like, oh hey, you want to come for posing? Why? When I have people coming to me for prep and posing, like.
And it's obviously worth it, you know, like Taylor drove down to do.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's worth it for her to come drive down 4 or 5 hours and then follow up with online until we get closer, and then she comes down again. Same thing with Sophie, you know.
Yeah.
It's obviously worth it, and honestly, posing is like almost like, I want to say, the biggest part of bodybuilding and competing, because you can look good, but if you get up on stage and
look like a bum,
you're not gonna do well. And you know, when I did Fit Body and came in second place, and if I didn't know the poses, I would have placed last.
I really worked on those poses for a week because you made some mistakes up there.
Yeah, I know. I know it wasn't perfect, but even when we were practicing, you're like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be so like harsh.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I want to, do
even when she
job.
even when she won for bikini on stage, she made a little error with her eyes. I was screaming. Oh, you're fucked.
Meanwhile, I hear him and. In my head, my feet aren't touching, so I'm like, he must not be talking to me. We had other teammates on stage, so I was like, I'm fine. I'm just gonna ignore that.
Yeah,
he was talking to me.
I take it very serious. Like even at that show, we got some people we have to key on in the pro classes because we may end up seeing them in the future. Ishmael was in pro too, so I want his package to be even better. Got it all videotape the whole thing, break it down with my software. It's like, change this has got to be fixed, I don't like this, we got lazy here, this has got to be better, this has to be better. And this person won.
And I feel like also you're really good at, making the athlete understand what they're doing, how to do it, and why they're doing it, and what it's accentuating, what it's hiding. Because I've had other posing coaches, and it's just like, okay, just wiggle around. Okay, good. Yeah, that looks good. It's like, well, what am I doing? What am I showing? I have no idea what I'm doing. If you're standing there, okay, good. Like, that's not wasting time and money. Right.
And that's one of the coolest things about our posing sessions that we have too. Not only me coming down here from Connecticut, but when I, do my posing at home and I email it to you, within hour, 2 hours, something like that, you've already put something up in the drive with you kind of in my video showing me exactly what I need to work on.
That was key for me.
Yeah,
he would do it at like midnight, and I'm like, so I'd have it the next day so I could pose like
all hours of the day. It's awesome.
Yeah.
That's better than the Skype, because Skype is like we have to be on a schedule, and then it's a shitty connection. We've done Skype, drop calls, and it's a shitty connection.
Yeah, this works out
no more.
No.
But yeah, I will not create stronger enemies. I'm going to take care of mine first. That's really it. So, good question. Yeah, I like that.
That's my paddle. Tough.
There's my paddle.
Do yourself.
There you go. Okay, so done with questions from the audience. So, if you have any questions for episodes in the future, you can email me at info@Sci-Unisonfitness.com. I will put the email address in the description of the video. Or you can wait till we post the panel photos. I post that on Facebook and Instagram. Post the panel, you know who's on the episode, and you can ask questions in the comments, and hopefully we can address it on the air. So, questions from the audience is done. We are done with the first half, so now we're going to go to a couple of our sponsors.
Next mission, Mokoni.
For the next part of Tough Table, we're going to be going into topic 2. But before we hit topic 2, I forgot to do this last time. I want to do a quick panel survey. Halo Top versus Enlightened.
Enlightened, all day.
Can you come back to me? I'm thinking.
Nope.
Halo Top versus Enlightened. Halo Top only because the macros are better, right?
I don't know. But you going Halo Top?
No?
I don't know. I don't think so.
You said Halo Top. Enlightened?
Halo Top because I've never had Enlightened.
Ooh,
man.
And what do you got? What do you got over there?
Same. Halo Top never had a light.
Oh, Javi, what do you say?
Ben and Jerry.
Ben and Jerry.
Oh, yeah. Ben and Jerry.
Okay. Next little survey.
What about you?
I'm enlightened all
Yeah.
day. Next, Snapchat versus IG stories.
Insta stories.
Insta.
I don't have Snapchat, so Insta.
IG stories.
Bobby just got a Snapchat last night. Still figuring it out.
What do you say?
Insta.
Okay.
I don't have Snapchat either.
Yeah.
It's
That-
weird. I
that
don't know
faded
how
out.
to really work it, and the screen keeps on like going to the other page, and I can't get back, and it's like
Oh,
showing me
dear.
something I don't want. I don't know.
Woof.
Yeah, Instagram's a lot easier.
Yeah.
Alright. So now we're going to move into topic 2, which is going to be managing expectations. As a lifter, a fitness enthusiast, an athlete, a competitor, even a coach, it's important to manage your expectations. Everyone is different, and every situation is going to be different. Constant comparisons with others is a surefire way to bring on unneeded pressures and create uncomfortable circumstances. So the key is to focus on yourself and your own personal journey. But first, I want to go to cheerleading tips by the Bleaching.
Like my cheerleading stuff? One, Legion! Waving your arms. Rock the Legion! We will rock the Legion! Rockin' the sea, Legion!
Okay, so here we go. I'm not starting. I started last time. I said I wasn't going to start, and I still did. Managing expectations. Who is up?
That was loud.
Good.
All right, I'll go for it. You got to be realistic with your expectations. And a lot of people go into fitness, whether it's competitions or just regular people, lifestyle. And they don't.
says regular people too. It's
Yeah.
not just me.
Well, I said you can't market.
Yeah, we gotta
This
call it
is for
lifestyle.
regular
Lifestyle.
people.
I usually call them Gen Pop, like general
Yeah.
population people.
I also feel like people don't want to be like talked about as a product. Like, hey, you're Gen Pop. It's like you're a lifestyle client.
That's true. To us.
But a lot of people, what I see is a lot of people come in and they really don't know what they want to do or where they want to go. So the first question I ask is like, so what are your goals? Like, what do you want to see? And you hear a lot of the, I want to be in shape and I want to get toned. And you're like, what is that to you? Because it's not the same for everybody else.
It's really surprising when you get to like know someone and talk to somebody how different people's perceptions are of everything, because one thing means one thing to you means something totally different to me or somebody else.
Yeah, or foreign language to me.
So the first step would be just.
That's you.
The first step would be realizing what you want and putting that into a clear definition that you can tell to somebody who can help you get there. And after that, you got to make sure it's realistic, and you're doing it in a realistic time. Right?
You're talking about new people showing like what the possibilities are.
Yeah, new, or even if you're switching, like I'm one person, like when I get into my workouts and routines, I get bored quickly, so I try to find different things to do. That's why I got into boxing and kettlebells and all this stuff to keep me involved and motivated. And when you're leading into those paths, even though I worked out before, I still got to be realistic with where I'm trying to go with the new stuff. So it doesn't matter if you're new in it or you're switching paths. You still want to be realistic with your goals and where you're trying to get to.
So we need pop-up books. We need pop-up books.
Pop-up.
So you get a new client and you show them a book. It's like a menu. What do you want to look like? And you open it, it's like, boom,
The guy
Shauna.
pops up.
It's like,
But that works.
Like,
That works. I've had to sit down with people I met for the first time and talk to them and be like, what do you want to do? And they were like, I want to be fit. And I'd be like, go home, and when you come back, bring me back a picture of somebody you want to look like. It really works.
It should be on menus and for us.
Fitness pop-up books.
Yes.
Does work.
To demonstrate the different categories of
Yes.
I'm telling you.
Start a new trend.
I feel like that and sushi should have pop-up books.
Yeah. Because you need pictures.
Yeah.
Dude, you know what
Sushi looks so weird when it's like flat, right? And then when
Not
it
even
comes
that,
down,
dude.
it's
You
like
look
nice.
at a menu and it's just like every roll lists the same fucking ingredients. How the fuck am I supposed to know?
I feel like I need to see the picture,
The
pick it,
pop-up
and then
picture.
read like, oh,
Right.
I don't want that.
I go by the pictures. I like seeing. I
That's what I'm
like
saying.
visual my food.
Pop-up books. Pop-up books
Sometimes
with
I don't order
sushi,
things because I can't
sushi,
see
and
it.
for new clients. Tell me what you want to look like.
Yeah.
Oh.
It does
Okay.
help. It does help.
Going back to like kids.
Yeah, but then when they see that, that
Picture
becomes a
books,
problem for managing expectation because then they're gonna think that they're gonna look like that person.
Right.
Not everybody
But an
is the
asterisk.
same.
Not all results.
You are not this person.
Results
Therefore,
matter.
you won't look like this.
Yeah, so you as the coach or the personal trainer, you have to wheel them back in like, all right, this may not be obtainable for you. We might want to go in this route,
Right.
and that's when the talk
think
has to
it's-
happen.
Not everyone's gonna have the same genetic makeup, which means they're not gonna have the same path.
I think it's also important as much to be open with, say, your trainer and say, hey, I really want to look like this or do that. But also it should be, I guess, on both sides. The client should, I guess, ask you to kind of evaluate them and say, what do you think we can achieve together? Because you can obviously.
Well, look at Springer. Springer's a figure pro. When I look at her, it's like, yes, you're a figure pro, but you're a fit body.
Yeah.
And it's just something she
Yeah,
never
you
did.
can like see.
And it's just like, I see your path.
We need to get you a crystal ball.
I see your path. I do. I see it.
So one of the things that oh, sorry. So one of the things I ask whenever I have a new client is the very first thing I ask. I say, how can I help you? Why are you sitting here in front of me? And that opens them up to, I want to lose weight. I want to gain weight. I want to look like this person. And it makes it easier on me because then I have a starting point with them. Kind of like you do when we have to do our questionnaires. It's a simple like a PAR-Q where they show, they tell me where they've been, where they want to be physically, and then it's my job to kind of get them there. Yeah.
And help to manage their expectations.
Yeah, everything. Because not everybody's coming in with the same expectation. I maybe wanted to gain weight. Kev maybe wanted to drop weight, and we're all different. But one of the things that I do, and I specifically do, is very similar to what you do with managing us, is staying on top of us. So making sure that we're getting all our meals, we're getting our weights going down, our weights going up, depending on what the client wants to do. The whole accountability thing, it goes a long way. And it works both sides of it. So the client keeps us accountable for making sure we're doing this, but we're also keeping them accountable to making sure they're following through with what we're giving them, so that we're not wasting our time and they're not wasting theirs.
And also each goal, I think, comes with a level of effort too, and that also, I guess, ties in with genetics too. Like it could be like really super easy for Rob to lose weight and like diet for a show, maybe, where it would be a little bit more difficult for me or
me.
Okay, or you, or just in general, some people respond quicker or have to, even though they are putting maybe in the same amount of hours as somebody else, they have to try harder.
And even on top of that, even if you took a clone of Rob, everyone has different lives.
Yeah.
So Rob could have a stress-free job. He could be, taking 2 classes of college and not have any responsibility, and he could just do, his whole life is training, eating, sleeping. You can take the same person with the same genetics, and they could be married, they can have 2 kids, they can have a stressful job, and have all this stuff going on, and it's like, whose path is going to be easier? You know what I'm saying? So every journey, not only just through genetics, but through their daily life and through the relationships that they have and make is going to be different. So, you got to manage that. If someone's saying, yeah, I want to compete, and it's like, all right, so you want to compete, but, you're strapped for money, you're strapped for time, you want to compete, you want to be shredded, but you're telling me you can only make it to the gym twice a week, you can't find a babysitter. It's like, this may not be your path currently. You may not be able to do this. You like the idea of doing it, but if it's not practical, you don't have a path.
Right.
I'm not saying to people like, oh, you shouldn't chase your dreams, but if it is just not there in your cards at the moment, then you got to manage that expectation. You got to wait till a later date. You got to try to get other things in order first before you want to make this big push. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Definitely.
You know, from a competitor standpoint too, is you have to be able to manage the expectations of, you know, not only who's going to be competing against you, because you know you can go in and have all the confidence in the world, but there could be someone there that's, you know, better looking than you, or they're better posing. You can't control it. You know, you can't control who the judges are or what kind of ties they have. You can't control anything about it. So you know, you may be at the top of your game, but if somebody else comes in and there's, you know, one little difference
Someone has
here,
it a little bit more than you.
something else, yeah. So, you know?
And that's what makes it hard about competing.
Yes.
Because when you know, I always talk about variables, but with competing, there's so many more variables. If I want to talk about regular variables for everybody, this is why everyone is different. That's why they have to manage their expectations. You can't always look at the best of the best and say, I want to look like them, when, you know, you haven't put in the work yet, or you may not have that path. You got things like age plays a big role. Training age, meaning how long have you been training for? You know, someone who's 2 years training, their muscles may look a certain way. If someone's got 15, 16, 20-year-old, dense, old muscle, that muscle looks freaky. You know, so you got training age, their muscle building genetics and potential, metabolism, like how fast is someone's metabolism? You got people on my spectrum, it's like some people's carbs are through the roof and some people's are in the shitter. It's like, that's, you know, their metabolism, testosterone, estrogen levels, thyroid functioning, their height, the skin thickness. Skin thickness. Like, you can be as shredded as you want. If you have thicker skin, guess what? The muscle doesn't look as good showing through. You're not going to be as vascular. So that skin thickness is another variable that is just in the mix. Yeah, I want to win, but it's like, wow, you have rhinoceros skin. It's like, that becomes a problem. That becomes a problem. So, you know, your skeletal structure. There are people I see on stage. When I see people on stage, they're shredded. They have all this muscle, but their bone structure is just ugly. I'm like, you got no symmetry. It's like, you worked hard, but you may not win because your bone structure is,
that stinks.
It's just, but that it's something that has to be managed. So you have skeletal structure. Again, who shows up? You can be at your best. You can be taking 2s and 1s, and the next thing is the big win, and you can be at your best, but who shows up that day? Who's judging that day? What politics are involved that day? And again, the randomness of the universe. And I always talk about this, like, one of the big things I talk about is, I focus on is like with Drake. You know, Drake was a world champion WNBF, and we decided to throw out the rule book and go into OCB and compete as an amateur. We could have used our WNBF pro card to go and compete as a pro, but we wanted to earn the IFPA, which is now no longer around, so I blew up in my face anyway. No longer around, but we wanted to earn it from the ground up. We wanted to pay the respect to the federation and be like, we're going to come and we're going to earn it, we're going to win it, and then we'll compete as an IFPA pro, but we want to earn the IFPA pro card. We don't just want to say, hey, we're at this federation pro, we're going to spill over. So you have a person, which it is what it is. Like, I don't feel bad for the person, but whatever. You had a person who would have won their pro card that day, but because I had an idea, and then we had an idea, the randomness of the universe cost you a win. And that's, you can't control shit like that. You know, someone like Sophie. Sophie was always a top tier athlete, but again, she didn't like me when she first saw me. I didn't like her. The randomness of the universe put us together, and now look at her, and she went on a fucking tirade last year. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, like, if she wouldn't have, I don't know.
You guys still kind of hate each other.
Yeah, we have good chemistry, coach client. We have a good relationship. She is a good friend of mine. What happens if she didn't end up in my hands? I don't know. So there's a lot of like randomness out there. Again, with you, it's like, I don't know. Certain people would have taken second place or third place in that fit body class. They didn't, because we had an idea. We needed to get this done. You got to get moved in, and it's just like, oh, really?
And if I would have won my pro card last time I competed, we wouldn't have even been in this situation.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, there are things out there if you try to manage all of it, forget about it. Yeah, so it's like, you have to realize that when you do this at a competitive level, there are things you just can't. You don't know who's thinking what where, especially with us.
Yeah.
Especially with us. You know, so everybody wants to win, but not everyone is gonna win. You know, I'm a prime example of that. I'm not a pro. You know, I put the work in just like the pros on this team have. I'm not a pro. I never will be because I'm never competing again. So it's just, it is what it is. You know, so I can generate these pros, I can generate world champions, but I myself, my path didn't work out. I'm okay with that.
It's like everyday life too. You have some people say you have a predetermined
Yeah.
path. Whatever
So-
that means, you know.
What's that, destiny, right?
I
I
guess.
guess that's a word,
Something like
technical
that.
word.
Yeah.
If you wanna really,
Some people's destiny is just not to win.
Destined to be a loser.
Yeah, it's not a loser, but it's just like
No,
you have no idea what
win
to
in
do.
every single area, you
Yeah,
know,
it's
like-
just I like to win. You know how much I like to win. I couldn't even win for
certain places in
myself.
life.
I couldn't win for myself.
Yeah, but you do a good job making other people, helping other people.
Yeah,
win.
yeah. So I had to find a
So
path.
it's-
I had to manage an expectation. Because when I got into bodybuilding, I thought I'm gonna do this all the way. I'm gonna fucking become pro. And I was so full of myself because I was so delusional.
when I first started.
Yeah, it was like ruled my life, and then I was like, oh, so I'm not gonna win. Okay.
Well, look how many people you helped.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, nice. Nice. I
Or
lost,
if you
I
never
lost to
competed.
Chris Sierra, who was in my math class. Nice.
Yeah, I
Okay.
remember that,
Oh,
bro.
I get it now. So
I remember that.
Yeah. So I think the focus needs to be on each individual improving, achieving goals, maximizing individual potential, and taking steps
Doing
forward.
their best.
Yeah, doing their best. What else we got before I start to talk about social media? Motherfucking bums on there.
Oh, boy.
Come on, give me
I
something.
think that people have to understand also, like, you get what you put in.
Cookie.
Cookies, yeah.
You're calling for one, you want?
Go ahead.
That was. Do you have
Oh.
any feedback on that statement?
I just-
you didn't hear me, did you?
Yeah, I was thinking about the cookie.
Okay, so you get what you put in. Also,
Yeah.
you know.
To a point.
To a point, because some people will put in less and get more.
Or some people put in a lot and still
get-
don't get
get
to
nothing.
that
Hey.
level. You know, like you could want to do something all you want, like, and you might not ever be
Yeah.
able to.
Well,
I
I
want
think
a
that
missile
the-
silo
well,
in
I
my
mean-
backyard. It just
okay.
won't happen.
I mean, you have to have
Like-
that conversation with the person that is maybe gonna have a little bit of a rougher path.
You have to have.
Like
I
you
try to
can't
have
be,
that- I
you
try to have
can't
that
have, you
conversation
can't
with
be
everybody.
discounted genetically and be lazy.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Double
You
win.
can't have a double
Yeah,
negative.
yeah.
You know?
You fit.
Because
Well,
then
it's like,
you're in the hole.
you got to pick your struggle here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to move on to. Can we move on to social media?
Yeah.
How bad that
Yeah.
is?
Move on to social media.
Social media is real bad.
The worst.
Real bad. You know, everyone is posting pictures of them at their best.
Mm-hmm. The highlight
Oh.
reel.
I like the new stuff that they're doing. You know, when they have that one girl, she's doing a pose and taking a picture, and there's the same picture again, just in a different pose, and it's like, what the freak, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Social media, it's, you know, you hardly see a lot of, you don't see a lot of these people in there off season.
No.
You got these people, competitors, even males. Males are getting worse now. Oh God, it's so weird. It's just like they're just posting all these photos, and it's like, wait, that's not now. That's from when you competed. And you just keep posting all these photos.
Mhm.
It's like.
Because like people like stockpile their selfies and
online
stuff.
I mean, I get it, but there's nothing else to
But
like.
well, also I feel like some people just see, and it's different if it's like you are a trainer and you're using yourself and you're like posting like a challenge. It's like an ad, really. The picture. It's not like just like a selfie or something.
Yeah.
But people hold on to this whole like acceptance via social media and like really like they can't get away from it. They have these stockpiled selfies and all this stuff like ready to go, and like that's all they post. And you know, you don't. It's like you see them at the supermarket, and you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, you don't look like that.
And I mean, I've noticed. I think I said it to you like a while ago. It's like, damn, like I don't get nearly as many likes on my photos when I'm not shredded. Like that kind of like it. I didn't get upset about it, but it's just like. I noticed it, and
Yeah.
you know, because I'm not like obsessed on the social media, it didn't bother me like that.
These people are so obsessed.
But some people genuinely have a bad day because it's like their photos didn't get the likes, or it's like they feel that pressure to post a certain type of picture all the time and have it just be a selfie or fitness or in the gym, where it's like you can show that you're
It's weird.
doing
People
something
post
else.
photos and then or they're just like post these photos and they're legit serious when they say these like disturbing things like, oh, I'm 142 weeks out. It's like
they actually are counting.
You're a loser.
And so I think it's important for the Gen Pop to like to realize that social media is all smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
You know,
it's super saturated, which is bullshit.
And I remember I took it as a compliment. Like this was a couple years ago, before I met you. This woman, we were following each other on Instagram. I don't think that we had really met yet, but we were kind of in the same area. And she came up to me. We actually saw each other in person. She was like, "Hey, like I just want to like let you know, like you look exactly like you do in person as you do on social media." Like she gave me a high five. She's like, "Good for you, man." Like that's awesome. And I'm like, yeah.
There's airbrushing, photoshopping, heavy filters.
Well, the problem with that all is that this is how they get attention from these no-name like clothing companies and all sorts of random things. Hey, check out our clothing. You want to be a spokesperson for a rep for us? Yeah. Like I can tell you, I've got those little comments. They're the worst. This
DM me.
DM me for information. They've got 13 followers. It's like, no, I don't want your.
And then also on social media too, these people post these photos, and just because they look great, just because they're a winner, just because they're a pro, doesn't mean they can or they're qualified to help you. It doesn't discount them. Doesn't mean that they can't help you, but just because they look a certain way doesn't mean they can help you.
$200 online meal plans.
Yeah. It's like you gotta be aware of. I call it J&G, not J&G style like you're thinking of. J&G, I call it juice and genetics. Yeah. You can have a person, a guy, a girl who's dumb as a box of rocks, but if they are taking something and they have great genetics, anything's gonna work for them. And then they're gonna try to replicate that on someone. Just do what I do, and you'll be big. It's like, no, you are stupid. Like you gotta watch stuff like that because that's what happens a lot. It's like, oh, I want to look like this person. I'm gonna follow what you say. Meanwhile, what they're saying is like crap.
Horrible.
It's crap.
It's to me. So most of the people here know that I'm not heavy on social media, and part of it is because it's just oversaturated.
It's crap.
It's like before social media started, there's the same thing that was happening with the fitness magazines and all that. People don't know better, so they pick up an article or they see something online and they just go through and follow it, not knowing whether the person that posted it knows what they're doing or not. It's really oversaturated with info.
Yeah, it's full of fads and bullshit. Yeah. The cleanses, the detox, the wraps, the supplements, the weird diets, the weird supplement, the weird training. It's not a training, I'm like, it takes longer to set up what you're doing than like it should. If it's taking you 15 minutes to set up some weird contraption so you can do some weird Instagram video to target a muscle for 15 seconds, you're losing. Like you're losing.
Way too much time on your hands.
You must not have a lot of clients, or you must not have a job because I don't know what the hell you're doing.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I've had clients actually come in and say, "Well, I saw this on so and so's Instagram." I'm like, well,
I don't care about that person.
Yeah, exactly.
You should tell them I saw this in a toilet.
Exactly. I'm like, well, first of all, I'm not that trainer. Second of all, they're on all sorts of stuff, and we're doing it the natural way.
Yeah.
So you're paying me. You're not paying this random, bozo online.
But you know what? It sucks though, because as a business, I am guilty of some of this too. I have to. I have to post pictures of some of my best at their best. I can't fight the world, or you know what I'm saying. I can only change what I can change. So I can rope people in how everyone else is roping them in, and then try to manage. But I have to post the pictures too. It sucks too. Like I'm very, I don't know. It's like getting older too. I'm very much more basic with the training, the exercises. But I have to add some of these exotic exercises. Why? To seem like
relevant.
Relevant.
Well, again, this goes back to managing expectations.
Or people get bored. Yeah, people get bored. If I can look at an exercise and be like, this is so stupid. But if someone's getting bored and they're just like, I don't want to do this anymore, what's worse? Doing something that's stupid. It's still training the muscle, but it's like, I don't see a purpose for it. But to combat that boredom, to keep them involved, you gotta play
bend it a
that
little
game.
bit.
You gotta balance that. It's not a black and white thing. It's more like a gray area. It's like, all right, well, you know, this person is prone to being bored, so I may have to throw in some of these exotic exercises to make this person feel important, or to make this person feel like, oh yes, this is gonna change everything. I'm gonna stay motivated. Meanwhile, it's the consistency, the effort, the intensity, the duration that's gonna give you the results, not this miracle exercise by some idiot on Instagram, you know? So, I gotta do shit like that too. It kind of sucks, but
It's all promotion.
yeah, it is.
I feel like even people that don't have a business, a personal, it's still promotion. I feel like. It's
Yeah,
all
I feel
ads.
like
you take a selfie of yourself, you're putting yourself out there to get likes. You know what I mean? So it's like an advertisement of yourself.
Well, like I'll post stuff all the time. It's like, okay, well, I have to post something, so I'm like still like around.
Yeah.
You know, I still have to just have a little exposure, and even if it's not to
balance.
sell
For
something
business,
or
you have to be. If
I
you
gotta
don't stay
balance all
relevant,
these-
you're out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I gotta balance. Like I gotta balance the athletes. I gotta balance tough table. I gotta balance, junkyards running. It's just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Like so, it's
It's a lot.
yeah.
It's a lot.
And it's, if you don't do the balance, then you run the risk of people thinking that's all you do.
Right.
I get these calls now. They're like, "Oh, I don't want to be a bodybuilder. Is that all you do?" It's like, no, I don't know. But we're so good at the team thing, and people see the wins and this and that. They think that's all I do.
And it's also it's funny because depending on what you post, people think that is all your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People have no idea that I have another job.
Yeah.
People all the time think that I think most people think that I just sit next to him all day.
Or in your little corner over there.
Yeah. Or because people are like,
Get to work.
people all the time like think that like either just like the suits is like my like whole like thing, or that like oh, you do what Ryan does. I'm like, first of all, I would never be able to do just what Ryan does.
Nobody
Second of all,
does
they
what Ryan does.
also they don't even know like what first, and then I laugh because I know that they don't even know what that like entails.
Yeah.
Because also they think that I think that with most people who are considered online trainers, they think that person's just like do all day, like la la la, like having like a fun time. Like he is all over the place doing like 1,000 different jobs, and so yeah, I mean, I don't post like here's a cubicle selfie, like I'm at the office,
Yeah.
So it's like people. What you post is what people see, unless they
know.
know.
That's why like when I first started, I was very robotic. I was very professional. It was just fitness, no personal, and then it got tiresome. I couldn't like help myself. I just felt like this. Oh, I can't act like this, and it slowly started to creep up. Where it's like, oh, now I have dogs, and now I'm into Marvel movies.
It makes you a person more open.
Yeah, but too many people are too much fitness. It's fitness everything. Yeah. That's why, like, as of late, like people thought I'm going through like some crisis because I'm obsessing over things like Kim Jong-un and missiles and stuff. And it's like, no. That's just Ryan coming to the surface. I've been into missiles for over a decade now. My senior thesis
after dinosaurs.
Yeah, my senior thesis for college was on ballistic missile defense. Yeah. You don't know me, and you're just finding out now, and you're perceiving it as, oh, what is this big change that's going on? It's like, no.
It's your online perception.
Yeah, it's like, no, that's always been there, and I'm tired of like holding it in. So I mean, I don't know. Yeah, social media is pretty much horrible at times. It's a good tool, but it's it gives everybody a platform. And guess what? Everybody should have a platform. Not everybody should talk. Yeah. Like, some people need to sit in the corner and just chill out for a little while, do their ABCs, stay with the coloring book, stay within the lines, and then maybe they can upgrade to Instagram.
Well, because I see some captions, and like sometimes I'll actually start reading it, and then I'm in like a rabbit hole, and it's like continuing comments, and I'm like,
all the motivational stuff. It's like, oh God, we get it. You're so motivational. You're so motivational. I read your post of you standing in the mirror taking a selfie, and I'm like, yes. Jesus Christ, my life is complete. Like, how are you motivated? Like, you don't really do much. You just You take a selfie.
And
you take a selfie in the bathroom. You take a
got a
selfie
million
here.
likes.
And it's just like, how are you motivating? You do nothing. You don't do anything. You're not a philanthropist. You don't donate anything. You do really nothing. You just take photos and you post it and you find some quote
blessed.
and you do this crap and you hashtag all this blessed God first crap. It's like, but in essence, you do nothing. You do nothing for the people around you. You do nothing for the people as a whole. You do nothing for the industry, and you get to tout yourself as some high and mighty creature that is blessed and humbled. And you are motivational, and you're trying to make your message to the masses. But yet you do nothing. But yet I'm deemed as like Satan because I actually tell it how it is. But I'm the person who does donate money, does donate my time, tries to create good environments for good people, and because I say the truth and it's sharp and painful, I'm bad. It's kind of fucked
It's
up.
all online.
It's kind of
Anybody
fucked
can
up.
be a CEO online.
Everyone's a couch. I feel like there's a lot of couch generals.
Money-making bitch.
Everyone's a couch general. Yeah,
It's crazy.
Everyone's a couch general with the gold BBSs,
Yeah.
and that's what it is. And I'm just like, I read these posts and I'm like, you should shut up. You make me sick. I can't believe that you get to say these things and you will fool people.
You're
people.
influencing
Yeah.
thousands of people.
You're influencing
horrible.
people. Yes, and you have the IQ of a doorknob. Okay, and you have the capability of a snail. And you post a picture and you find a caption online and Google something and you put this crap under your picture and you think that that is going to fix the world. You, my friend, are the problem with the fitness industry.
Yeah.
My managing expectations is managing you to the dumpster, because it's bad now. It's real bad.
Posted from their safe space.
Yeah. I can't. But moving on. I got a little hot there. The shit's been driving me nuts.
Sidetrack.
All right, coach's perspective. I'm going to talk about as a coach too, managing expectations. You know, I had this problem earlier where I want everyone to win all the time. But guess what? I can't want that person to win more than they want to win.
It's like, well, in any kind of coaching position, whether you have a team or not, you can't
Make that person practice.
Yeah, like you can't make them practice. You can't be on the court for them. Like
Yep.
they have to put in the work and want to do it in order to get there. Like,
at first, that was stressing me out. Like, why are you not doing this? You gotta win. It's just like, yeah, okay. You say it to your face and behind your back, you know what they do. You can't want it more than the person.
If we had a bad posing, if I had a bad posing session with someone, not bad, but just
Bad.
yeah, bad. Either bad or they came back and it's like nothing's changed and like I was stressing out about like coming up with something new for them, or I hope they like caught on to those changes and they're ready to look great, and they would leave and like I would catch myself feeling defeated.
Yeah.
And I would come to you and be like, do I suck?
That's how I was.
Do I? Am I a horrible posing
yeah.
coach?
Yeah.
Like what the hell is going on? And
Some
like
people
I would
come,
take
I'm
that
just like this.
personally, and then he'd be like, no, let's like get back to
No,
reality
that
here.
person's horrible. Not you. Like,
Yeah, and so it's like I have to, as a posing coach, like know that I'm putting forward. If I'm putting forward 110% into
Which you
somebody, then that's it. That's all I can do.
Yeah.
They have to come back with that 110%, or just be happy with the 75% that they put in, and it's out of my hands. It's hard to detach since I feel like we're so invested, but you gotta kind of just.
I know right away. Someone comes here for the first time, I'm like, you're a winner or you're a fucking bum. Right away. There's no in between. When that person who I know you're talking about, when she came, I was just like, you're a bum.
Yeah.
And it showed.
Yeah.
You're a bum. No matter what we did, you're still gonna be a bum.
And then there
Her
was
destiny was to be a bum. I couldn't change it. I can't change it. No matter what you did, this person did not want to follow through. This person, if they don't want to follow through, and they don't want to practice, and they're not sending check-ins, and they're not sending weigh-ins, and they're not sending posing videos, they have created their own destiny. It was to be a bum.
You can lead a horse to water, you can't.
Yes.
That's right.
You know, Taylor was never missing a weigh-in, never missing photos. We'd start doing the online posing. I always had a video to break down. Same thing with you. Same thing with you. You always came here for posing. We always got it done. And I knew right away, I was like, I'm going to work hard, and let's see what they do. Oh, they worked hard, so I'll work harder. And then they work harder, and I won't be outworked by anyone. So I'll just keep going. I'll just keep going until it all falls into place for all of us. But you know right away if someone's a bum or not.
Yeah.
But off the competitor thing, a problem I had at first is you can't treat competitors like your lifestyle clients. I look at my competitors, it's like, we're going to be shredded. And then you get a...
Are you ready?
You get a lifestyle person, they just may want to lose 10 pounds and be happy as a,
You
a
have
pig
to
in shit.
feel-
And
yeah.
it's...
Gotta differentiate the two.
Yeah, I'm just like, no, we want more. Like, no, I'm good. Like, I just want to enjoy the summer. It's like, you could be more.
You could be way better.
You could be more.
Sure, you don't want to
So
lose
you
another
can't
5 or
treat those
something.
people like that. Again, it's an expectation that the coach or trainer has to manage. Because I look at someone and immediately know genetic potential. It's like I see a person, I'm like, you would be good for this show and this class. And then it's like, no, I just want to lose 5 pounds. I never want to compete. Are you sure? You sure you don't want to compete? And some people I can twist. And certain people I can't.
I'm sure you can see now. Well,
Yeah, I know. Like,
All right, they'll change and they'll maybe compete.
Yeah.
But, and that's always cool to get somebody that's not competing and bring them in.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
have
But you
them grow
can't
with
view everyone like that. Not everyone. The competitors are, the high output competitors are gonna be counting their macros. They're not gonna miss the training. They're gonna be on point with the check-ins. They're gonna tell me everything I need to know, probably more than I need to know. But then you have the lifestyle people, where it's like, I'm used to dealing with the competitor. Give me all this data, and it's just like sometimes, sometimes like most of them are appreciative of what I do, but sometimes you can give these people everything, and they suck, and they treat you like shit, and that's why those bums are gone. Okay, but the lifestyle clients, it's like, oh my god, am I giving them enough? Are they happy? They only lost
And they're
5
just like-
and they will praise you like you're the second.
They're low maintenance.
It's like they're like, this person is great, changed my life, and I'm like, are you sure?
You're like, I only did
But
this
they-
much.
But
Like,
they're
I'm
not
like,
competitive people
Yes,
too, so
or
some
they
people just aren't
or they
competitive.
found
It's
what
like-
they wanted to.
Yeah.
They found, they came to me, or
They
they
wanna
come
feel
to they
comfortable.
come to another trainer, and you help get their blood pressure down. They're off medication.
Yeah.
Or they drop 5 pounds. They drop 10 pounds. They feel comfortable at the beach.
Yeah.
I feel great.
They want to look good in that dress. Or
Yeah.
They want to look good in that.
And it's just like you're the best at
at
it. So it's like managing that difference from like, I need a world champion, and like, oh cool, blood pressure's down, great. Like,
Easy fix.
Yeah, but what's more important? What's more important is what the client wanted.
Yeah.
It's just like the coach,
As long as
trainer
you
has
have
to be able to
expectation.
manage that instead of getting like, I get very obsessed and fixated. You know that.
No.
Like, I feel like all you guys know that.
Yeah.
Too. So that becomes an issue.
I think like the staple of a good trainer or a coach is to be able to be kind of multifaceted, where you can have the guy who comes in, he's overweight and he wants to get off the blood meds and he wants to actually just live a more healthy lifestyle. But if you can train somebody to lose significant amount of body fat and put on some muscle, you got to be able to play both parts. And I think you do that pretty well with managing both male and female competitors. So you got to be able to handle both when they come into you. So.
Well, at first it was like I got the criticism of, you only work with men, all this bullshit, and it was just like I had mostly guys.
Yeah, even when I came to you, I was like, do you do bikini?
Yeah, it was mostly guys, and some girls were timid. It was just like, all I see is guys, and it's just like,
I remember when you first started.
yeah. And
Like,
now it's like, now I get the
Yeah.
opposite. Some guys are like,
Yeah.
so do you? Well, now they won't, because we got a good momentum with Ishmael and stuff like that. So those figureheads help out. But everyone thought it was just all girls.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I had Drake,
Funny, the shift.
I pulled Sophie, we pulled Leah, and then all of a sudden it's just like all girls. And then it was all the girls, all the most dominant girls are just like, yep, I'll take them. Keep them
Come on,
coming.
girls.
Keep them coming. But, we pulled Stephanie Kane, like these are big names that they just keep coming in, but it creates a misconception because, I've had people say to me, oh, do you do guys too? It's like, what? It's weird to me, but I get the perception.
Well, again, on my perception,
Yeah.
what are you posting more of? Bikini, figure. So,
hip hop, you know, because there's more.
Yeah.
There's more. I've had more girls this year because of the
It's
world
funny how
title.
this,
Yeah.
like, how it all swings.
Well, when I first started, it was just a bunch of guys, and there was like a girl here and there, and it's just like, oh, I don't know, you do mostly guys. And I'm just like, oh.
Say
Do you
that
know how to
your
train a girl?
your predetermined destiny.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, so that gets rough too. You know, and then the other thing you got to manage too is these placings at these shows. If we're talking about these shows, you know, like I said before, you can have a person who's stuck at 2. You know, they need a 1. They can look better. They're best, ready to rock and roll. They can take 4. They can take 3rd. But they can be back in 2nd and look better. Again, who shows up? How many people showed up? What are the judges looking
Yeah,
for?
exactly. I was saying, what are the judges looking for that day?
You don't know.
You know, it's just like, oh man, you know, and it's
Fraction.
hard. It's hard to,
A lot of
you know,
variables.
if the competitor is not like mentally in tune, it's hard to explain that because they're just like, well, I've always been taking 2, I've always been taking 3, or whatever, or 4. You know, how did I take 6th? I've always taken 2. How did I not take 1? I took 3rd.
Yeah, he took 2 every competition with 2 people.
Yeah. You know,
You
it's
came into
possible.
real
It's
competition,
possible
6
to.
or 8.
It's possible to look better, be more prepared, and place worse.
Yeah, no.
Well, that's kind of what happened to me with the,
Oh, yeah,
the,
right.
the OCB show. I took 1st in my class, then lost in the overall, and then what was it called? The Herc, or not the Herc, the Fulton before that. Same thing, placed 1st, but lost in the overall.
Yep.
But then placed 4th at the
Herc.
Herc. So, yeah, prime example of it. You know, you never know who's going to
keep
show
going,
up.
Keep going, keep going. You don't know who's going to show up. You don't know what situation's going to be that day, what the judge is looking for. Again, that's an expectation that has
Even
to
if it's
be.
your best too, you still
Yeah.
might, you know.
You never know.
Yeah,
got
before
some
even
beast
going
showing up.
into this season, you and I had that talk where we're like, we have to just like not expect anything, prepare like we're going for 1, but we know that we can't control anything.
That's the
Anything
best
can
way.
happen.
Anything outside of this
Prepare
right
your,
here.
prepare your best, do the best that you can do, and you win, great. Obviously, everybody wants to win. That's why you do it.
Right.
You don't do
Not
it to
everybody
come in
can.
second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, not everybody can win. Or some things
At
just
that
out of-
time.
Some things are out of your hand.
Yeah.
There you go. Some things are
Somebody-
just out of your hands.
Somebody told me a long time ago to control the controllables.
Yeah.
If you do that,
There you
you've
go.
done everything you can do.
Yeah.
Everything outside of that, you have
You
no
can't
control.
do it, yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't help.
You feel
It's not a
happy.
sport.
You feel happy with
I can't play
your
defense.
effort.
I can't
Yeah.
go to that person's house who took 1st and break their legs. If I could, I would.
What's that? What's that girl? What's that girl who did that?
Oh, Nancy
Kerrigan.
what was
Tanya
it?
Harding.
Tanya Harding. Yeah, yo, if I could be Tanya Harding, yo, I would. If I got the list of who's competing, it's like, damn, this person to win. Yo, I'd break your legs. So you don't show up. And we win. It's not a sport where you can play
This is
defense.
so crazy.
You can't play defense. You know, it is what it is. Ready?
Yeah.
Someone at the table?
Yeah.
That's our next segment.
Yep.
I don't even know why I called for that.
I don't know.
You need a
I like
clap.
that.
Or
We-
no?
No, we're gonna go to. All right, so we're done with. I'm going here. We're done with topic 2. So now we're gonna go into our next segment, which is going to be someone at this table.
Good call.
All right, so ready. Guess number
Got a
1.
hookup for that now.
10 days before moving into college as a freshman, I was on a rope swing and slipped and fell before hitting the water. Jesus Christ. I fractured my vertebrae, and had to wear a back brace for the first 8 weeks of school.
Oh, that sucks.
All right?
Who's not in?
A hobby.
I'm not.
Okay.
All right, so that's guess 1. All right? So you can look it up there. You can look on my screen if you need
I'm
to.
gonna make mental notes of this because
Guess number
I
2.
think I got these.
I once turned down a significant monetary offer to appear on a Girls Gone Wild video. Guess number 2.
Wait, what?
Guess number 3. I worked at McDonald's for 4 years and never got sick of the food. Fat motherfuckers.
These are funny. These are funny.
Guess 4. When I was younger, my babysitter would take her kids and I to early morning swimming lessons, and I hated it so I would act sick to get out of it. Okay. And guess 5. When I was younger, I ate fried eggs too fast at school. I ended up throwing up all over the lunchroom table with 4 other kids at it. And it took me nearly 5 years to eat eggs again. Okay.
All right.
You ready?
I think so.
We're good? Okay. So, guess 1. Okay, so 10 days before being a freshman, they swing on a rope, fall, fracture a vertebrae, and back brace for the first 8 weeks of school. Who is guest 1? What do you have?
Taylor.
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 Taylor. Taylor.
I knew
Yeah,
that. I knew that. I don't know why.
Wow.
I was like, you're not swinging on a rope. You're not swinging on a rope. I don't know where you live, but I feel like it's far up that way.
No,
It's
it's
like
not
on a
that
rope.
far.
Okay, so everyone gets that point. Number 2, guess 2. I once turned down a significant monetary offer to appear on a Girls Gone Wild video. Rob. It is Rob.
Yes.
It is Rob. Rob.
No, I had a feeling.
Even Shauna. Whoa. Guy didn't tell me? All right, so we have, so who do we have? We have Rob who got it.
No, I don't have anything to tell you if I turned it down.
We have Rob. Shauna got it. And we have Taylor. Okay. Guess number 3. I worked at a McDonald's for 4 years and never got sick of the food. And
Kevin.
Kevin. The
Oh
answer
my gosh,
is
Shauna.
Shauna.
I did know that.
Kevin.
What
And
is yup?
I knew that you. I don't know. One time
So
we had a
who- wait, so
conversation.
who
you
got
told
that?
me you worked at McDonald's.
Just Shauna.
So
Just
I knew
Shauna.
that.
Interesting, Shauna.
Why? Because we would make our own stuff, so it was like always variety.
Yeah, it was like 7 patties.
Oh my God.
I'm down for that.
Buffalo chicken wrap.
You're-
Delicious.
This is you.
All right, guess 4. When I was younger, swimming lessons, used to fake sick to get out of it because I hated it.
That's a Ryan thing.
Oh, I hated it.
Damn.
Shauna, Ryan. Okay, so who's got the point? That's Kev, Rob, Shauna. Damn, Shauna's winning. She's winning.
Babysitter.
You're someone your mom worked
Dina
with?
Talley.
Really?
Yeah, Dina Talley used to babysit me. I used to go do swimming. I was like, dude,
I
it's
didn't know
fucking
that.
6 in the morning, bro. It's
Let me
6
watch
in the morning.
cartoons.
I don't feel like doing this. So I was just like, I don't feel good. I
Why
got
did
shit.
I remember that?
It was that was grades 1 through 3. Yeah, they used to watch me during the summer. And then after 3rd grade, my mom just left me home, and that's when I ran them up.
Yeah.
Got in trouble.
Well, yeah.
Started playing with fire. All right, so guess 5. Throwing up at the table. Eggs. Shauna, Kev. Damn, Shauna is Ryan and
Just
Kev.
ran the
Damn,
table.
Kev.
So
I
who's
knew it.
I'm back, baby.
who's got the
on my
points?
trivia
It's
game.
Shauna and Kev.
Yeah.
Can't stop the
So
train.
Shauna is the winner.
Of
She
course.
killed us.
Can't stop the train.
Shauna is the
That's
winner.
right, Javier.
The Intra Blast sweet tea goes to the 2nd place person, which is going to be Rob.
Here you go.
There we go. Shauna's not allowed to win. But clearly she dominated. But
Clearly.
So in this case, it was good to be second.
in this place,
Hey, there we go.
2nd place paid off.
Yes.
Yes.
Second
First
place
is the worst.
trophy.
2nd is the best.
Oh, thanks, Ryan.
And 3rd is you're tied. Is the one with the either hairy chest or golden chest. So either way. So first is worst.
Whatever you guys want to pick. Go ahead.
First is the worst. 2nd is the best. And there's our intro. So we are done with something at this table. So now we're going to go into our last drag and drop of the episode. It's going to be not MB, not for me. I will be doing that. So I will take it away. Welcome to Not MB, Not For Me. I wanted to continue on the path of one of the main topics from this Tough Table episode, speaking about counting macros, properly counting, stuff like that. And one of the questions I get a lot is, you know, my protein is too low for the day, but I don't really have much wiggle room with my carbs or fat, or, you know, I have a lot of carbs left, but I can't really touch my protein or my fat, so what do I do? That's where NutriBio supplements can come in handy, especially things like the whey isolate, okay? So the whey isolate is going to give you 25 grams of protein per scoop, and it's going to give you 0 grams of fat. So if you're stuck in a bind where you need that extra protein, this is quick and easy, so I would definitely look into that. They also have this new grass-fed version as well. Same thing. We're looking at 0 grams of fat, 25 grams of protein. So definitely check stuff like that out. The classic way, which is really good still, a lot of great flavors. You know, it's still good, but you're going to get 2 grams of fat. You're going to get the 2 carbs. It's not the end of the world, but again, like we're talking in terms of pure macros, we're looking at these isolates. They're probably your best bet. In terms of carbs here, you just 1 carb. So look into your isolates. In terms of supplementation that would help with carbohydrates that are not going to touch your fat or your protein, you can look into something like a Carbomax. All right, so with this, you're going to get a fast-acting carbohydrate. I would like to throw this, post-workout. You can even do a pinch of this pre-workout, and this way these carbs are readily used. But again, with 1 scoop here, we're looking at 28 grams of carbs and 0 fat, 0 protein. So if you're stuck in a bind like that, especially on training days or carb spike days where you need to burn through some of these carbs, this is a great thing to have. And I know that the serving size here, since 1 scoop is 30 grams, gives you 28 carbs. It's basically a gram of carb. So although it's 30 to 28, it's pretty much 30 to 30. So if you're short, you need 20 carbs, you can do 20 grams. So this is definitely a good cheat when it comes to bringing up that carb level without touching the protein or fat. So these are always going to be great options. You're always going to have a lot of flavors, and again, full disclosure labels, no proprietary blends. NutriBio is always going to be the way to go. So you know what that gets, as always. So if you want, get over to the website, www.nutribio.com, and you're going to check out these products, Carbomax. You can look at the classic whey, the whey protein isolate, grass-fed whey isolate. Check out all the great flavors, and you're going to use coupon code SUF1010, and it's going to get you 10% off your order. So thank you. Hope you enjoyed.
Thank you. Thank me. All right. So not in me, not for me is done. Hope you enjoyed that. That was my 3rd or 4th. I think it's my 4th of that. So I'm gonna keep that going. Now I want to go into our last lap. So I'm gonna go around the table, do our last lap, last words, and we will wrap this up. So we'll start over here with Rob.
Oh wow. So, I don't know what to say. I told you to screw something up.
Can we start over here with Kevin?
Let's start over here with Kevin.
Last words.
First off, thanks for inviting me back. Always have a blast here. And good luck to the rest of the team that has shows coming up. And
we got Fulton next week, and then we got we're off for a little bit, thank God. Focus on food drive, and then it's Monster Mash and Interworlds.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Buckle up.
Here we go.
I would like to say thank you for inviting me for my first Tough Table. I had a great time, so thanks for letting me be a part of it. And I agree with Kevin. Good luck to everyone the rest of the fall season, and yeah, keep it going.
I'm going to try.
You're welcome.
I want to thank, as always, Initium Eyewear, the best in eyewear, whether it be, sunglasses, stylish glasses, or computer lenses. They hook me up all the time. They're the best in the business. So I appreciate everything they do for me and for Tough Table. NutriBio, as always, providing the supplements we use for the giveaways and everything they do for me as an athlete and a coach. So I always appreciate them. Javi, we're following you up. All the the paddles, the graphics, everything, all my crazy T-shirts. Yes, all my crazy T-shirts, all done by him. So following you up. L&S Custom Tailors for always, helping me out with these nice jackets.
So nice.
Yes, I love the jackets. Yes,
Nice one.
yes, I like this one. I gotta hit him up and get some more. He knows. He knows he created a monster.
Yeah,
So,
good one.
yeah, L&S Custom Tailors, and we have a new sponsor on board. Be Firm. It's a lotion. We'll put a link to all these things in the description. So once this video is posted, I want you guys to like, subscribe, share this. We also have Johnny MMA Jack Juice.
Yeah, can't forget that.
Okay.
That's a big sponsor.
Yeah. Be sure to like, share, subscribe to the channel, share the video, and you can always go to www.suftoughTable.com. You go up top, you can see all the full episodes, or you can go up top, go to topics, you'll see the table of contents, and instead of watching a full episode, you can actually pick the topic you want to watch. You click that link and it goes right to that video, right at that exact time mark, and you can watch from there. So you don't have to search around for stuff or watch full episodes. Even though I think you should watch full episodes, especially during cardio. So that is my last, actually, and also too, I want to wish good luck to all the people going into deep fall. Anyone in deep fall knows what they're going for. We're gonna, we got Fulton coming up, Monster Mash, trying to qualify for eventually to go to Worlds and to try to chase down some more world titles. So that's my last lap. And
My turn?
Shawnee-tron.
Okay, so first, happy birthday to Colleen. It was just her
Oh, yeah.
birthday.
Happy birthday.
Also,
And John.
and
John's birthday's today.
Yeah.
John Delapalli, the person who
also-
helped build the table and all this other crazy shit in here.
yeah.
So happy birthday, John.
Also, happy birthday to Elizabeth, Jessica, and Samantha. They're coming up in the next
Oh,
month.
it was all today.
Oh, no. But I just need to say happy birthday to them.
By the time this is posted, your birthday is
It'll
already
be your
passed.
birthday.
So happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Awesome job, Stephanie, on your second win of the season.
Keep the train going.
Yep, I want to take a special thanks to everyone that's been staffed so far. You've been really great and on point, so that's been a ton of help. I want to say thank you for all the support that I've received through my season so far. Everyone's been really great and nothing goes unnoticed, so thanks a lot for that. And then also, if anyone wants to sponsor me for reps for food for the food drive.
Yes, we need that money.
Please,
Send
do
those
it.
dollars.
It's a lot of work for us.
Yeah,
you
I gotta
know.
call Mario and get the trailer.
There's
sent
going to
here.
be, I'll put it back on stories this year, there's going to be a huge trailer in the driveway. We go out and we scan every single can.
Yeah, we do the shop. Yeah,
Imagine
we do the shop, yeah.
$15,000 worth of canned goods that are all
Yeah.
like 50 cents each. That's a lot of food. We donate a lot of stuff. So, or you can just donate food.
Yeah, donate food, send the money, we'll do the shopping. We don't take the money, we make sure we spend it, we get it into the right hands. So, yeah, look out for that. Now you're up again, Rob.
All right,
I
now
can't-
okay.
I can't
All right, so now I
fucking
have an
go anywhere else.
No, I'm done. All right, so yeah, thank you guys for obviously for having me out here. This is awesome. I really got to show a little more respect to Ryan because this whole setup is crazy.
People don't,
Like,
people
exactly.
people don't care.
Well, they don't care, but they should because you put in the time and the effort to do this stuff. I don't see any other coaches doing this.
Oh.
you know?
Literally, I expect nothing less, though.
Yeah, exactly.
I
If you
just
know them,
know,
you've worked
like-
with them long
Let's
enough.
just set the
You
bar
are
lower.
completely surprised, but not surprised at all.
No.
Exactly, so driving up from Connecticut, it makes it all worth it, whether it's the posing or just coming down for something like this, it really is awesome. And I know that I speak for Kelsey as well, that said we're excited to get back into competing and get back into training and all that stuff. When
First
the timing
food
is-
drive.
Yeah, well, absolutely. First
First
it's
it's food
We're
drive,
gonna do
then
that
it's
first.
wedding,
Yeah,
and
then it's
it's
wedding, yeah. Yeah, so we might be hitting you up for some pre-wedding.
Whatever you guys need,
all that good
always.
Absolutely. And it was nice seeing you guys too.
Yeah.
So, and I'm gonna go check out the Fulton show since it's like 10 minutes down the road from our house.
Yeah.
So we'll see you there in a couple weeks.
Nice.
Or next week.
We good?
Good.
Tough
Awesome.
table,
Excellent.
11, done.
In the books.
It's
Whoops.
very tough.
Now I just gotta edit this shit now.
Very good episode.
Yay!
The editing is gonna go
Editing.
super smooth this
Can't
time.
wait. I can't wait to do it. And build the SUFcharity.com at the same time. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Just no problem.
No problem. All right, so
While you're at it, can you build me a website?
I should, might as well.
Just put it right on top of that,
We're out.